Hello, reader. This is Brittany Wang, the author of the audiobook you're about to listen to, which will be read for you by the very talented Talon David. Before the audiobook begins, please note that this story, Forest of Blood, is part 4 or episode 4 of my 6-book YA fantasy miniseries. If you missed parts 1 through 3, you can access all 6 audiobook videos through the playlist link below in the description, and I hope you enjoy the story so much.
Forest of Blood, The Dryad Hunt. On Wings of Ash and Dust, Episode 4. By Brittany Wang. Narrated by Talon David. Chapter 1. My sweaty fingers clench at my sides as I drag my feet down a long tube bridge, the dark ocean pressing in at every angle. I should be stuffing my face with delicious seafood along with everyone else in the Nymph Palace, our last breakfast before we shove off for the Dryad province next. Instead, I'm back in the depths of the ocean, where the only seafood I see is what's swimming around me. They almost seem to snicker at me as I answer the Queen's summons to her pod. Her twisted face when I ranked ahead of Vale in the Nymph trial plays over and over again in my mind. The Queen can't fault me for simply trying to survive, can she? Whatever the case, I can talk my way out of this. I start to prepare my defense as I enter the dome, but halt as I near the Queen's pod. A stocky, feather-winged fae swoops in from an aqua gate on the other side. Moonface? Slipping around the pod wall, I wait for him to pass by on his way to the palace. Instead, he stops short, barging into the Queen's quarters. I thought I'd be free of him after we departed from Eldor. What is he doing here?
Your Majesty, forgive the intrusion. I must speak to you.
Moonface's muffled voice sounds from inside.
Not now, Jasper. But your grace, it's about the missing item.
There's a pause, and the Queen lowers her voice. I can barely make out the words.
Speak quickly. I have Quinn on her way right now, and no one must see you here.
Intrigued, I press my ear against the pod wall, listening harder.
As you've instructed, we've been in Eldor searching everywhere for the ancient text, but it hasn't turned up.
The Queen's voice takes a biting turn.
Vale said it must be somewhere in her chambers, though I've sensed she's hiding something from me. Return to Eldor and search again. Vale's room, the main library. Turn the whole palace upside down if you have to.
She pauses.
If it isn't found, I want the other competitors' things searched as well. Thankfully, they wouldn't be able to read it, but you know how detrimental it would be if someone found it who could.
My mind goes to the mystic tome with its unreadable code. I nearly gasp out loud. It can't be the same, can it? If it is, why is it so important to her? Does the Queen know how to decipher it?
Well, what are you waiting for?
The Queen's voice rises.
Get going! Of course, Your Majesty.
Moonface says before shooting out the door and back toward the aqua gate he entered from. I've never seen him fly so fast. I don't want it to seem like I was right outside the whole time, so I wait, pressing my back against the outer wall of the pod. If I'm right, that the mystic text and the book they're talking about are one and the same, I should warn Hickory. But there will be time for that. Right now, I have to appear before the Queen, or she might get suspicious. I knock on the door.
Come in.
The Queen's voice is calm and collected again. You summoned me, Your Grace? I enter tentatively and bow, remembering why she called me here to begin with. The Queen's pod is the most lavish of all, filled with ornate bird cages as well as a slew of potted plants that cover the vanity and violet carpet. She must have brought them with her from the royal gardens. The Queen doesn't turn, busy watering a tall hydrangea. I brace myself for whatever scolding is coming.
Ah, Quinn, I trust you are well rested after yesterday's events?
She asks, still consumed by tending to her plants. Yes, Your Majesty. I bow my head. That's a lie. After talking to Hickory about his visions and how they'd lined up with my dreams, my nightmares had been especially vivid. I blink, trying to look more awake. And may I just say how sorry I am to have surpassed Vale in rank. It was not my intention.
Well, I should hope not.
The Queen finally puts down her watering vase and raises a brow.
I assume that from here on out, we will continue to put our best foot forward, while keeping our eye on the true prize.
She eyes me carefully. Of course, Your Majesty. I nod, getting the hint. It's subtle, as I'm learning is the Queen's way. If I want to be free of this life, I can't forget that I need to play her game, and make sure I don't outmatch Vale again.
Now, I have some royal business to attend to before I depart Isinglass, so I'm asking one of my captains to lead the traveling party through the woodlands in my stead. I'll need you to keep a close eye on Vale and keep her safe.
Of course, Your Majesty, I say again, wondering if her royal business has anything to do with the mysterious book.
I'll follow shortly, she assures me. But before you enter Dryad territory, I want to give you some guidance.
I wait, expecting her to share some advantage for the next trial. But that isn't it at all.
Do not get distracted by the puck.
What? I freeze, my mind racing. With her talk of the tome and Hickory fresh in my mind, I wonder if she's talking about him. Was she in the infirmary when I spoke with him last night? Or did someone tell her?
I know your tendency is to be impulsive, she continues, but I need you completely focused on the task at hand. Believe me, I know what it's like to be swept away by young love. It isn't worth it. Not when more important things are at stake.
Young love? I recall her story of falling in love with Prince Marcus and how poorly that went for her. Your Majesty, I'm not quite sure what you mean. The Queen waves a graceful hand to quiet me.
Focus on the competition now, and you can always try to charm him in the future. Believe me, I don't have much faith in his marriage arrangement lasting much longer.
Aeron. She means Aeron. My shoulders relax, but my heartbeat quickens. Everyone saw us dancing together at the masquerade. Could she have seen us swimming together the other evening as well? A pod lamp had flickered on just as I was leaving the pool that night. Blast! Could it have been hers? Your Grace, you have absolutely nothing to worry about.
Good.
She cuts me off, staring at me.
I trust you to take care of this then, yes? Because I'd much rather not have to intervene again.
Again? I blink. What does she mean, again? The Queen turns back to her plants and begins to hum a tune I vaguely recognize. Then it hits me. It's the lullaby Aeron played during the trial. The memory of Aeron's violin flashes in my mind. The snapping of its string jabs at my side, and my breath catches. I'd first thought Niall tampered with the instrument. Could it have been the Queen? Would she really go so far to ensure my focus stays on helping Vale win the crown, even risking Aeron's death? I swallow hard. Before anything even happened between Aeron and me, the Queen knew he would have had a natural advantage for his clan's trial. Slowing him down, or possibly taking him out completely, would have been an added bonus for her. She's already gotten me out of the running with our deal. I shouldn't put anything past her. I stare at the Queen with a new level of unease. She glances my way with arched eyebrows, still waiting for me to respond.
Do we understand each other? She presses.
I try to force words out, anything at all. All I can do is nod. If the Queen is saying what I think she is, I have more to worry about than I thought. I'll just have to stay away from Aeron. I have to convince her nothing is going on between us, or who knows what she might do next. The nymphs send us off with a display of spiraling water arcs and a grand choir of singers. As we sail away, the towering palace of Isinglass descends back into the ocean depths until only bubbles linger on the surface. Frankly, I'm glad to be finished with this vain clan and have another part of the competition under my belt. But I also lament, knowing I'm leaving my precious Silver Sea yet again for the most dangerous place yet, the woodlands. Dryad territory. As we make port, we leave not only the ocean behind, but also most of the day's light. Twisted trees reach for the sky, blocking out most of the sun, leaving us to trudge through eerie shadows. The forest is too dense to fly through, so we travel on foot through thick greenery. A screeching owl startles me, then a rustling sound in the bushes. I draw closer to our traveling party as I imagine beady eyes lurking in the shadows. From past pirate raids, I know creatures and even the trees themselves could be rogue Dryad changelings preparing to ambush us at any moment. I feel for my daggers hidden under my cloak. Whether the Dryad Lord has claimed to receive us in peace or not, there's no way I'm walking through the woodlands unarmed. As time drags on, the scenery changes. Rotting logs encumber our path, and dead leaves crunch underfoot as I swat away humming insects. Branches groan in the stale breeze, many barely holding on to their last leaves. "What's that smell?" Vale scrunches her nose. I sniff the air. In place of fresh pine, the mustiness of moss and decay fills my nose. Every time I enter the woodlands, another part of the forest seems to be dying a little more. I lean my hand against a tree trunk and the bark falls away, dry and brittle. Fiery visions from my nightmare flash through my mind, and I pull my hand back. "You all right?" Aeron asks, suddenly beside me. "I'm fine," I say, averting my eyes. The Queen's warning from earlier rings in my mind. "Do not get distracted by the puck. I'd much rather not have to intervene again." I press forward, hoping he'll get the hint. No such luck. "I've been meaning to talk to you." He matches my pace, his voice a low whisper. I don't answer. "Are you mad at me or something?" "No. What would I have to be mad about?" I shrug, keeping my gaze ahead. I can do this. Even if the Queen hadn't threatened him, this is for the best. Whatever almost happened between us and Isinglass, he's still promised to Arista. It's pointless to keep letting him in. "We're competitors, Aeron," I say simply, when he continues to follow. "It's probably time we start acting like it." "Right. Okay." His voice lightly cracks with a sadness that makes me want to take it all back. Before I can give in to the temptation, I pick up my pace and stride ahead. With every crunching step, I hate myself and this place even more. Alys's countenance, however, seems to grow lighter the deeper we go into the forest. Her black braids bounce as she and her attendants take the lead. It's her turn to go home, though nothing feels homey to me about this place. I may not quite understand her, but I find myself happy for her. And without former crewmates like Colt, who knew the woodlands and always carried handy explosives for protection, I feel a lot safer with her in our company. After what feels like hours, we finally stop at an open field near a brook for rest and a midday meal. Alys's attendants leave to go on a short hunt for food, while the 5 of us are left behind with the Queen's captain and a group of sylph guards. We've brought along some dried squid from Isinglass and are allowed to drink from the flowing brook, but we aren't supposed to go too far from the tents and fire pits that the attendants have set up for us. "Have you ever been to Vindoria?" Hickory asks me quietly, perched on a log near the flames. "No." I cup my hands into the brook's cool water and drink deeply. My crew often pillaged villages throughout the forest, but we never found the Dryad's capital. You? "I've been once, to paint a portrait for the Dryad Lord and Lady, but I was blindfolded on the way there and back, so I wouldn't be able to return or lead anyone else there. I'm just glad the clans have opened up their borders for the competition, so that I don't need to be blindfolded this time." He shivers. Being forced into complete blindness must have been an utter nightmare for him. He glances behind us. Though a dozen sylph guards are spread out around our campsite, they're either too busy looking for external dangers or consumed in conversation to notice us. Taking the opportunity, Hickory pulls his dust pipe from his jacket and sticks a twig in the fire, using it to light the pixie dust. He inhales deeply, his body lifting off the log, floating in midair. He breathes out a puff of smoke into a glittering raven, which majestically glides away from us. I gawk. Even his pipe smoke is artistic. Settling down onto the log, Hickory relaxes, leaning against a rock. By the way, he lowers his voice and peers through his good eye at me. When are we going to talk about the you-know-what again? I purse my lips. I haven't told him about the Queen's conversation with Moonface, and if they were even talking about the same book. There have been too many people around us to get a moment alone. I peer around to make sure no one is able to hear us now. I'm not sure where Alys is, but I soon spot Aeron farther down the river. Unsurprisingly, Vale is with him. I tell myself not to care. She pulls him by the hand, playfully guiding him deeper into the woods before the guards can notice. My chest tightens, and before I know it, I've shot to my feet. If Aeron doesn't like her the way she likes him, why does he humor her? And what in the world are they always sneaking off for? Quinn? Hickory says. We'll talk later, I promise. I trail after them, careful to not attract attention from the guards. Let's just survive this place first. Okay. Hickory's shoulders slump as he follows me into the brush. Where are we going? Hush, I whisper sharply. You don't have to come. Quinn, wait. I whip around. What did I just say? His usually floppy ears perk straight up. Did you hear that? He asks, his good eye alert. Hear what? I'm getting more annoyed as I strain to listen. I don't hear anything. Something's not right. He closes his eyes and I wait, remembering his heightened senses. I thought I heard a piercing scream cuts through the forest. It's coming from the same direction Vale took Aeron. With one look at each other, Hickory and I dart through the brush, clawing our way toward the sound. Breaking through to a small clearing, we find two figures standing at the mouth of a cave. Aeron is shielding Vale with a long branch in his hand as they inch back from a gigantic cat-like beast. A lynxicorn. Its spotted fur stands on end as it hisses, bearing dagger-like teeth and curling tusks, ready to slash through its enemies. Not to mention the spikes on the end of its swooshing tail and the long, pointed horn on top of its head. It could easily impale either of them in a second. Nice kitty. We're not here to harm you, Aeron says calmly. Let us go, and we'll be on our way. His words warble through the air. I hold my breath. He's trying to use his silver tongue on the beast. Good. Kaito used it on the Leviathan. Why wouldn't it work now? But the lynxicorn narrows its cat-like eyes as it takes a threatening step forward. Its shadow swallows Aeron and Vale in darkness. Even on all fours, it's nearly twice their height. They don't stand a chance. You've got to be kidding me, I curse under my breath. The lynxicorn's long, pointed ears twitch my way. Blast! Turning back to Aeron, it gives him a low, menacing growl, seeming to blame him for our sudden appearance. Aeron nudges Vale back and tightens his grip around the stick in his hand. He's going to try and battle it. Before he can swing, the lynxicorn lifts a clawed paw and slashes through Aeron's forearm. His stick falls to the ground, snapping in half. No! Vale shrieks, and my heart leaps into my throat as Aeron is knocked to the ground. Vale collapses next to him, trembling. Get out of here, he tells her through gritted teeth, clutching his bleeding arm. He then looks behind her where Hickory and I stand at the edge of the clearing and locks his eyes on my face. All of you! The lynxicorn is not one to wait. It claws at the dirt, lowering its horned head, preparing to charge. My jaw clenches. Oh, no, you don't. The Queen will kill me if anything happens to Vale, and if I let Aeron die trying to save her, I'll never forgive myself. I whip out my daggers and launch forward to help fend off the beast. Another figure beats me there, darting in between Aeron and the lynxicorn with nothing but her gloved hands. Alys. Just like with her dragon and the Leviathan, Alys puts out a hand and stares into the beast's eyes. The creature pauses, and Alys holds her ground as if expecting something to change. I hold my breath, hoping it does. Instead, the lynxicorn whips its spiked tail down right where Alys stands. She dodges the blow just in time as the spikes drive into the earth, causing shards of rock to go flying. Rolling back her shoulders, Alys leaps onto the beast's back. She yanks at its long ears to rein it in. That only makes it angrier. It rears and bucks with a deafening roar, trying to throw her off. Alys grips tighter, keeping her hold on the creature, but as it lands on all fours, her face drops. 5 more growling lynxicorns emerge from the brush. They're closing in on all sides, pressing us together. We're surrounded. I look at my daggers. They won't be enough.
"I told you I heard something,"
said Hickory, stepping back. "Right now is probably not the best time for I told you so's," I say, readying my blades just the same. I'm not going down without a fight. But as a lynxicorn creeps toward us, I notice something different about its eyes. They're red. I look around. All of them have blood-red eyes. Suddenly, the guards from our campsite burst into the clearing and unsheath their swords.
"We've sent the attendants for help,"
the sylph captain yells.
"Get behind us!"
As the guards charge the beasts, my stomach turns. To my right, one lynxicorn slashes its claws through a guard's feathered wings. To my left, another bites through a sylph's leg, blood spraying the ground. Screams fill the air, but I can still distinguish the captain's voice shouting one word to the 5 of us through the noise.
"Fly!"
I look at the others, my heart hammering in my chest. The guards can't hold them back much longer. The lynxicorns don't have wings. Up is our only way out. Bending my knees, I release my dragon wings and push off the ground with all my strength, hearing the rush of the others' wings catch the air and swoop up after me. As we fly to the tops of the twisting trees, branches and thorns catch on my clothes, scraping skin. I don't stop until I break through to the open blue sky with the others. Just as I think we're safe, I halt in the air. Heading straight toward us is a horde of flying figures. With the sun blazing, I can only see their silhouettes. At first, they look like fae, bodies and wings similar to ours. For a moment, I think it's the rest of our traveling party coming to rescue us. But as they draw closer, I see that their skin is ribbed and charred. It looks as if they've been burned, flecks of skin flaking off their bodies as they move. They snarl at us with disfigured faces, while flexing irregularly long arms riddled with boils. One opens its mouth, baring his sharp fangs at us with a hungry expression. I jerk backward. "What the?"
"This way!"
Hickory darts to the side, but we're met by even more of them. There are dozens. We're trapped. Again. One of them eyes Aeron, who's favoring his wounded arm. It launches toward him with claws raised. Sunlight reflects off its sharp talons and something else between its long fingers, with a pointed end as thin as a needle. With no time to think, there's only one escape. I grab Aeron's tunic and drag him back down into the forest below, calling to the others. "Come on!" As we fly down through the brush, the burned creatures shriek, crashing through branches after us. Landing back in the clearing, the 5 of us huddle together. The dark creatures descend onto the lynxicorns, some of them mounting their backs as the beasts stand eerily still.
"Are they controlling them?"
Hickory asks.
"Whatever's going on, I don't want to stick around to find out," says Aeron. "We need to get out of here."
"And how do you propose we do that?" Vale asks. "Looks like we're going to have to fight our way out." I reveal my daggers again and head straight toward one of the lynxicorns. Alys intercepts me. Her hands are raised, eyes full of concern.
"Alys, you may be a vegetarian, but these lynxicorns aren't."
Hickory points at the remains of our guards sprawled in bloodied heaps on the other side of the clearing. A lynxicorn near the captain's lifeless body turns to us, licking its teeth. Its pack follows, boxing us in again. Instead of heeding Hickory's warning, Alys puts her fingers to her mouth and lets out a loud whistle. "What was that for?" Vale asks frantically. "Are we going to whistle them to death?"
"No."
Hickory points to the sky.
"That whistle was for him."
A blast of fire shoots down from above and incinerates 2 of the burned creatures on the spot. The others' hungry faces turn to horror as a lumbering green dragon breaks into the clearing, smoke billowing from his nostrils. Toma. Fire bursts from his mouth again as he whips his tail around, sending some of the dark figures flying through the air. The others go after Toma with a vengeance. They claw at his neck and back while lynxicorns sink sharp teeth into his legs. I wince at the sight, but with Toma distracting them, the beasts have all but forgotten us. This is our chance to get out of here. This way! Aeron waves us on with his good arm and takes off with Vale and Hickory in tow. I move to follow, but Alys is frozen in place. Alys, come on! I shout. She doesn't move, watching Toma struggle to fend off the beasts. She steps toward him, but the dragon shoots a wall of fire in front of her, as if warning her not to get involved. She extends her wings to fly over it. He blows another blast in her direction. Alys! I grab her arm. Fury rages in her eyes as tears stream down her face. I know you don't want to leave him, but he wants you to go. Through her tears, she nods, and we run through the trees, leaving Toma behind. Chapter 2. I think we lost them. Aeron breathes hard as we finally stop running. No longer able to hear Toma's cries, the woodlands have become eerily quiet. I look at Aeron's arm. He's still clutching it. The bleeding has slowed, but without treatment, I'm sure it'll get infected. At least we got out of there when we did. He could have been killed. We all could have. I can't get the image of the dark flying creatures out of my mind, and the one moving to stab Aeron with whatever that was. What were those things? Vale collapses onto a nearby boulder, looking up at Hickory. I have no idea, Hickory says, leaning against a tree. Alys? Alys looks back with a vacant stare. She shakes her head. If even she doesn't know what they are, we're in more trouble than I thought. Do you know where we are now? I ask her tentatively. With our guards torn to shreds and the rest of our party nowhere to be found, we're completely alone. Still, Alys has to know these woods like the back of her hand. Can you lead us the rest of the way? I ask. Alys looks around, trying to get her bearings. Can't we rest first? Vale complains. Not unless you're sure those things won't catch up to us, I say. We should keep moving. We're far enough for now, Vale presses. She hauls herself to her feet and points to the brush behind us. Alys, you and Quinn go look for some berries or something, she directs in a royal tone. Hickory, figure out some way to start a fire. Aeron and I will look for berries over here. What, so you can stumble into another beast's lair and almost get us killed again? I don't think so. I glare, not liking her ordering us around one bit. That, and the fact that her and Aeron would be alone again. Ladies, pointing fingers isn't going to help anything. Aeron starts, but we ignore him. Vale strides toward me. We'll need some kind of sustenance if we hope to make it the rest of the way. We haven't eaten for hours. And whose fault is that? I step forward to meet her. The hunting party would have brought food back if you hadn't run off. Though we haven't been on our own for long, I'm growing more agitated with Her Highness by the minute. And what gives you the right to play leader? You're not the queen yet, princess. Vale crosses her arms. Okay. Do you have any better ideas? My jaw clenches. On the minnow, Wit had always been more of the planner, and I was the action girl. I'm always the one who gives the orders. But Vale's right. If we keep pushing ourselves with empty stomachs, we'll only be slower and weaker if attacked again. Fine. I snort in defeat. Let's be quick about it. I motion for Alys to follow, but she shakes her head. Moving to a tree, she pulls down its leaves to reveal bright blue berries. See, I say, Alys already found food. Now we can keep moving. But instead of putting them in her mouth, she crushes them with her hand and walks over to Aeron, peering at his wounds. Aeron tentatively offers her his arm, and she slathers on the sticky blue juice. He hisses at her touch, but then his shoulders relax. Snatching a nearby leaf, Alys dabs at the wound, the scratches now dried into dark red slashes. Thanks, Aeron breathes, obviously feeling relief from the pain. Alys isn't finished. Next, she looks around and points to a glossy mushroom with purple spots. "Another healing plant?" I ask, feeling like I figured out the game. Alys shakes her head violently. "Not healing, poisonous," Vale says. Alys purses her lips and nods. Vale draws toward it for a closer look. "It's a high shroom. Strong hallucinogen, too. Don't worry," Vale assures her. "I'm an expert in plants, so between you and me, we'll be safe." Though I'm no less frustrated, this seems satisfactory for Alys, and we depart on our assignments. Walking with Alys is, well, quiet. Mostly me pointing at plants and her shaking her head yes or no. I don't mind. I go to ask her about yet another plant when rustling comes from a bush nearby. I grab my dagger, preparing for another dark figure, but Alys puts out a hand to steady my advance. Carefully, she inches toward the bush and pushes back its branches to reveal a jackalope caught in a hunting trap. Though it thrusts its tiny antlers at us, pink nose flaring, blood pools out from where its leg is nearly severed, staining its white fur coat. "Well, this works out perfectly," I say. "I much prefer rabbit to berries anyway." After making sure the trap's owner isn't lurking close by, I turn to find Alys glaring. "What?" I ask defensively. "This poor suffering creature is going to die anyway, unless there's a healing plant around here that can reattach a limb." Alys looks back to the jackalope struggling for breath and rolls up her sleeves. Her arms, usually hidden under her clothing, are covered in marvelous swirling black tattoos, the same kind that frame her face. Then she reaches for her gloves, and I hold my breath. I've always imagined her hands were withered or covered in boils, something that would have further incited the death rumor. But as she slips the gloves off, her hands are not evil-looking at all. They are beautifully young and smooth. Only the tattoos reaching all the way to her fingertips mar them. I relax, until Alys reaches out to the creature. "What are you doing?" I crouch next to her. Am I about to see Alys's death grip in action? She ignores me and places her hands on the dying animal. The struggling jackalope twitches, then relaxes, closing its eyes. Well, that was quick. But Alys is only getting started. With the creature completely still, she gently works the jackalope out of the trap and cradles it in her arms. Alys presses her eyes shut like she's concentrating. Her face contorts, sweat beading on her forehead. I'm so preoccupied with her expression that I nearly miss what's happening with her tattoos. They're no longer black, but beginning to glow a bright white. And wait, are they moving? I shake my head and blink furiously. It's not a trick of the eye. Her tattoos swirl over her skin as if they're overlaid vines and not a part of her at all. They glow brighter as I watch, creeping further down the sides of her arms. Captivated by the spectacle, goosebumps climb up the back of my neck. What in Phelan is going on? I look at Alys's face, her eyes squeezed tight, her teeth clenched as if she's the one in pain. The more her face contorts with agony, the more the tattoos glow. The jackalope kicks. Though its eyes are still closed, its chest moves up and down. It's still breathing. Soon, the leg completely heals, leaving only dried blood surrounding the wounded area. I've seen dryads heal with herbs and incantations before, but Alys isn't using any of that. Her tattoos return to black, and Alys relaxes, though tears prick at her eyes. She breathes in deeply and releases the animal. The jackalope's eyes flutter open, and it stands up on its hind legs. Looking at Alys as if to offer her its thanks, it bounds away like it was never hurt at all. Did Alys really heal a creature just by using her hands? It looked as if she even took on the jackalope's pain as her own. As Alys replaces her gloves, all I can do is stare, mouth agape. She isn't an agent of death or even a common medic. She's one of the ancient dryad healers I've only heard stories about. I have so many questions, I've never wanted to communicate with someone so much. Seeming to understand, Alys rubs a spot on her arm with her fingers as if it's sore, and then points to it. I tentatively step closer as her tattoos return to a stationary state, except for the area she touches. Like a branch growing out of a vine, a new part of the tattoo grows and swirls around until it settles into a shape. A rough outline of a jackalope. I reach out to touch it, then stop. These aren't tattoos, I say, more of a statement than a question. They're scars. Alys nods. This is amazing, Alys, I exclaim. Why in all of Phelan would you keep this a secret? She could have used her ability to heal Aeron earlier, but she didn't. And why choose to show me? Alys sighs heavily, her shoulders lifting and releasing with frustration. We have to figure out a way to communicate. I look at her tattooed arms as if they can answer for her. My eyes settle on an area I didn't notice earlier. A familiar symbol calls to me. 3 insular circles, overlaid by a flower. It's the sign of the Pneuma. Alys, I point to it. How did you get this one? Do you know what it means? Before Alys can respond, another scream rings through the forest. My head snaps toward the sound, and the word comes out of my mouth before I can even register it. Vale! Chapter 3. It's definitely Vale's piercing scream. Alys and I spring into action. Reaching our campsite, we find Hickory frantically looking around, not sure what to do. Did you hear that? His eyes are wide with panic. I think it was Vale. I know, I say breathlessly. Which direction did they go? Hickory points, and the 3 of us charge ahead as another scream sounds. Help! Somebody help! It's definitely Vale. This way, I call as we follow the voice through the trees. Reaching a large willow tree, I look up. Aeron and Vale hang amidst its branches, stuck in a Dryad trap. The roped netting has them wrapped in a tight ball. Vale almost elbows Aeron in the face as she points at us. See? Vale shoots Aeron a smug look of triumph. I told you if I screamed loud enough they'd find us. Did you have to scream right in my ear, though? Aeron says, still holding his hands over them. I breathe a sigh of both relief and anger. Blast it, Vale! We thought you were dying! Well, you heard me, didn't you? She's still smug. So did the entire forest. Did you already forget about the flock of dark creatures that almost had us for lunch? Vale's freckled cheeks pale. I shake my head, taking out my dagger to cut them down. We have to get out of here, and fast, before anyone or anything finds us. It's too late. The crack of a branch sounds, and we whip around to face our fate. A large company of Dryad warriors emerge from the brush with bows drawn. Some of them are changelings, shape-shifting from trees and animals into fae right before our eyes. Alys steps forward, her hands giving signals I don't understand. From the troop, a large brown and white wolf steps forward, morphing into a youthful and towering Dryad. Hold your fire, he calls. His deep brown, muscular chest and arms are covered in Dryad markings. His sharp eyes peer out from white paint, the same coloring the wolf had around its eyes just moments ago. With that piercing glare and facial structure so similar to Alys, they have to be related somehow. Alys, he says. She bounds to him, and he pulls her into a relieved embrace. For the first time, her mouth breaks open all the way into a joyous smile, giving me reassurance that everything is going to be okay. Put down your weapons, the Dryad says, and his warriors obey. We've been looking for you ever since your traveling party showed up without you. Toma returned barely alive. Everyone's been worried sick. At the mention of her dragon, Alys's hands flew up in a slew of signs. The Dryad gently lowers her arms. Toma will be fine, Alys. Our best medics are attending to him. After seeing his condition, we all thought, I'm just so glad you're okay. He hugs her again.
What in Phelan happened out there?
We were ambushed. The words fly out of my mouth. We barely made it out alive. The Dryad's eyes narrow at me.
These must be your competitors.
His voice is laced with judgment.
What are you talking about? Who ambushed you?
Well, Hickory starts. First it was a pack of lynxicorns, but then... He looks at the rest of us.
Other creatures came.
Aeron presses his face up against the netting.
They had the look of fae, wings and all, but their appearance was twisted, gruesome looking, like they were living victims of a fire, burnt to a crisp.
It seemed like they had some kind of control over the lynxicorns, too, Vale adds. Even Alys couldn't reason with them, I say. Alys's eyes are glassy again. She's probably thinking about Toma, wishing she could have done more. The other Dryads exchange knowing looks. Their leader takes a breath, his eyes pressed shut.
Goblins.
Goblins? Vale asks, scrunching her nose in confusion. My stomach plummets. If Vale hasn't heard of them in any of her studies, what exactly are we dealing with?
That's what we've taken to calling them anyhow, the Dryad continues. We have no idea what they truly are, what they want, or where they come from. They appeared a few weeks ago, terrorizing some of our smaller villages and hunting parties, stealing our supplies.
He looks to Alys, whose eyes are wide.
We thought we chased them back into the mountains. Haven't seen any of them for at least a week's time.
He turns to the four of us.
Not until you all showed up.
Are you trying to accuse us of something? I say. He steps toward me, but Alys crosses in front of him, placing a firm hand on his chest. She gives me a look of warning as well, then signals to him again.
Alys says that you're competitors, but not enemies.
He emphasizes the last word with a heavy tone of suspicion. Accepting a bow from one of his comrades, he puffs out his chest as he motions to his warriors.
You'll be safe with us as we travel the rest of the way. I'm Layman, the first of Alys's younger siblings, leader of the Dryad warriors.
His eyes narrow at me as he growls through his words.
Welcome to the woodlands.
Once the Dryads cut Vale and Aeron down, Layman and his troops lead us the rest of the way to Vendoria. The eerie sounds of the woods increase around us as evening falls. More than once, Vale complains as we trudge through mud and brush. I give her a warning pinch every time. Tired of being her keeper, I look at Aeron to pinch her in my stead. He grins as if to say, with pleasure. I smirk back, savoring the bit of easiness between us again. I quicken my pace to match my speed with Alys ahead. Younger brother, huh? I ask her quietly. In front of us, Layman towers over pretty much everyone. He shoots a quick look over his shoulder, but doesn't say anything. Alys smiles and shrugs. She's definitely in lighter spirits now that she's back with her folk and knowing that Toma will be okay. I want to ask her more about her tattoos and symbols, though. I just need to figure out how. You were signing with Layman before, I whisper. She nods. Do you think he could teach me?
Layman does not cooperate with pirates.
Layman answers for her. Oh, so you know who I am. I smirk.
Unfortunately. Wasn't hard to pick out the Gwyllian pirate with your dragon wings.
He stares straight ahead as he walks.
If I had things my way, there wouldn't be pirates or any competitions promising false peace.
He scoffs, his words turning to mumbles.
Sacrificing the best of our own, battling it out for a crown while evil creatures run rampant and there's less pixie dust to go around every day. Ridiculous.
Alys folds her arms in a huff, and Layman eyes her. So you would prefer war, I say. Layman stops, and like a pack of wolves following its alpha, so does his troop.
That's not for me to decide. We've arrived.
In front of us is a wall of gray, speckled rock. What do you mean, we've arrived? I ask. Layman ignores me and reaches into a drawn pouch around his neck, pulling out a lump of green powder. From where I stand, it gives off a fresh, earthy scent. Dipping 2 fingers in the powder, Layman approaches the wall and draws a series of Dryad symbols on the surface while whispering unintelligible words. As if the words give the powder a life of its own, the edges of the symbols grow out like vines, forming shapes like Alys's tattoos. Finally, they settle into the image of a vine-covered door. I lean forward to get a better look, waiting for Layman to push it open or pull at a handle. Instead, he walks straight through it. I startle backward.
Did he just walk through a wall?
Hickory asks behind me, his voice climbing with excitement. Before I can resist, Alys grabs my arm and pulls me through after him. I brace myself for impact, but I only feel a rush of air before opening my eyes. Layman stands in front of us as the others step through, motioning to the glorious scene before us.
Welcome to Vendoria.
No wonder it was impossible for any of Maverick's pirate crews to find Vendoria in the past. In addition to the magical door in the stone, their homes are built right into a series of monstrous trees. Their rounded roofs jut out of the trunks, emulating giant mushrooms that surely help to keep them hidden from anyone flying overhead as well. As evening sets, the light in each of the cabins glows brightly, attracting fireflies that flutter around. It's a magical sight. The most striking aspect is that Vendoria is not like the dying, twisted trees that cover much of the woodlands. Everything is a lush green color, vibrant with life. As we approach the largest tree, a small group is gathered, too wrapped up in their murmuring to notice us until, "Alys!" a shrill little voice calls, and the group turns, rushing our way all at once. A whole slew of Dryad sprites and younglings reach us first, practically knocking Alys over. In the commotion, Layman stops 2 Dryads on their way over, talking to them in hushed tones. I recognize them as the Dryad Lord and Lady from the previous trials, the Lord with his swirling ram horns and his wife with her green tattoos, marking her as a plant changeling. "Sister! Sister!" one of the littlest sprites cries out to Alys as she picks her up. "We missed you so much!" another exclaims as he hugs her legs. Quickly moving out of their way before I'm trampled, I mentally count the number of bouncing heads. There are 10 of them, plus Layman and Alys, making a total of 12. I nearly fall over in shock. I've never seen such a large family before.
The Dryads aren't joking when they say go forth and multiply, huh?
Aeron whispers to me, and I choke back a laugh. Vale! The Queen rushes toward us from one of the nearby trees. Even with our delay, I'm surprised she beat us here from whatever mysterious royal business she had. She breaks into tears as she reaches us, hugging Vale tightly. "Thank Phelan you're safe." As hard as the Queen is on her, it's clear she truly cares about her daughter. Though Vale looks like she might die of embarrassment, I would have taken it any day. If my father were here, he'd probably give me a scolding for not taking out all the goblins myself, then send me back out there to finish the job.
Thank Phelan they're all safe.
Dryad Lord Torlon and Lady Navi stand with Alys and Layman between us.
At least until the trial,
he adds, still smiling. Some of us laugh nervously. Though our travels have been treacherous, the real challenge hasn't even begun yet. Standing next to Layman, Lord Torlon is a slighter, aged version of his son, his black and gray beard reaching down to his chest. As if compensating for a battle wound, he leans on his staff of twisted wood that encircles a clouded orb at the top. His deep brown eyes hold a measure of kindness as he looks at each of us.
Layman has informed us of the dangers that you face today. Considering the ordeal, I'm instituting a day of rest tomorrow while our warriors scour the perimeter for these goblins. I will also personally give our champions a proper tour of not only the deadly dangers of the forest, but also the vibrant life of our sanctuary here in Vindoria.
He motions to the beauty that surrounds us.
For now, it would do us all good to get some rest.
At the mention of rest, the heaviness in my limbs increases, and I long for a bed. Thankfully, we're led to our chambers nestled in an enormous tree nearby. Entering through an opening at the bottom, we climb up the staircase that winds inside the hollowed-out trunk until I'm dropped off in front of a round wooden door. Inside is a small, cozy space lit by a firefly-filled lantern. The smell of fresh flowers on the little table soothes me as I notice my trunks have already been brought up and unpacked. I collapse on the soft bean-filled bed nestled in the corner. It's hard to feel completely settled and safe, even as I pull a pillow close to my chest. My mind is spinning with the events of the last couple days, so many of them still unsolved. Hickory's vision, the Queen's secret conversation, the strange goblin creatures, Alys's powers, and the Pneuma symbol on her arm. Besides the trial coming up, I have an unsettling feeling that there are even darker dangers ahead. Fearing the nightmares of Gaius that await me in sleep, my hand reaches down between the mattress and box spring. I've stashed my daggers there once again. I touch them for comfort. Eventually, I succumb to my heavy eyelids and drift off, wondering what the days ahead will hold. Chapter 4. The next morning, I'm groggy, but glad not to have woken up from my usual nightmares for once. After I dress, I'm led outside for breakfast on a sunlit terrace surrounded by climbing greenery and the morning songs of birds. A series of high-top tables with legs of twisted wood are scattered throughout the space, with platters of varying fairy fruit featured at each. My mouth waters as I walk from spread to spread, ignoring the stares of dryads mingling around each table as I take one of every juicy fruit I can find. "Lily tarts!" I exclaim, not even ashamed of my sprite-like excitement. I nearly drop my plate to hurry toward my favorite dessert. I pop a few into my mouth, the fresh, tangy flavors sending my taste buds spinning. Lily tarts back home were usually imported, or made with ingredients no longer fresh by the time they reached the mountains. These warm, gooey tarts in my mouth must have just been made. A soft moan of joy escapes my lips. "Sounds like you're eating something simply awful." Aeron approaches my table, eyes traveling from the platter to my face, which is surely smeared with tart juice. "Oh, they are," I say with my mouth still full, putting out an arm between him and the delicious treats. "Truly terrible. In fact, I'd best eat all of them so none of you have to suffer." "How self-sacrificing of you." Aeron folds his arms with a grin. The wounds on his right arm catch my eye, and I reach toward him without thinking, my fingers grazing the slashes that are now scarred over. No sign of infection. "These look better," I say, glancing up at him. "Better now," he says, staring at my fingers and then back at me. Blood rushes to my face and I pull away, returning to the lily tarts. "Good," I say. Internally, I curse myself. "Quinn, what are you doing?" "I've never understood fae who like those things." Vale appears on the other side of the table, her eyes flicking between Aeron, me, and the tarts. Her mouth twists as she uses a delicate hand to toss a piece of fruit into her mouth, holding her plate away from the tarts as if they might infect her breakfast. "They're much too sour. How can you stand them?" I roll my eyes and jam another in my mouth, munching loudly. Can't a pixie enjoy her favorite food in peace? I make a face back at her, mimicking her expression. Even with my mouth full, I'm about to respond with something equally snarky when another voice cuts in. "They are definitely an acquired taste, my dear." The three of us turn to find the Queen approaching, and I gulp down the rest of the tart in one forced swallow. Subtly, I shift as far away from Aeron as I can. Hopefully she knows I wasn't the one instigating our interaction. "I trust you are all well rested and ready for the day," she asks, adjusting the amulet around her neck. We nod. Good. We must all put our best foot forward, keeping our eyes on the prize. Her stare lingers on me as if to say, I'm watching you. My insides twist.
If I could have your attention.
Lord Torlon's voice carries over the terrace as he emerges between two flowering hedges with Alys, tapping the bottom of his staff on a nearby rock.
Once you've filled your bellies, we'll begin the woodland tour, as promised. Layman and his warriors have scouted the area to make sure it's safe, and a few of them will accompany us as we go. You'll also get a glimpse of the nursery, where we keep the many young herbs and plants we care for. As you know, the Dryad Fae are protectors and cultivators of all life, and defenders of the sacred vine. We only kill to eat, and some of us don't even do that.
He smiles at Alys. No, she only kills other Fae with her death hands, Vale whispers to me. I nod back, not wanting her to know Alys's secret.
We hope you enjoy our tour today,
Lord Torlon says before his expression grows serious.
If I were you, I'd pay close attention to what you learn, as it may help you with the trial of life later this week.
As we walk through the forest, Lord Torlon points out a variety of plants and their uses. Hickory can't stop feverishly sketching in his notebook, taking in all the sights and colors as well as the many small critters that progressively join our trek through the forest. Like the fish in Isinglass, they seem to gravitate toward Alys. Birds, foxes, and even snakes creep and slither out from the foliage in her wake. At one point, a chipmunk lands on her shoulder, nuzzling her cheek. I try my best to stay engaged and remember what Lord Torlon is saying. Though it's all unmistakably beautiful, frankly, I'm bored. Trees and bushes, flowers and vines. After a while, everything starts to look the same, making it easy to get turned around. At least out on the sea, I have the sun and stars to guide me. Vale, on the other hand, is having the time of her life, especially as we enter the enclosed nursery with rows and rows of different vegetables, fruits, and other vegetation. She can't help herself, naming as many different plant species and facts as she can rattle off before Lord Torlon even gets the chance to say them himself. He's patient with her, and I marvel at him. I surely wouldn't be.
This one is...
The Dryad Lord begins again. Oh, that's a moshing fun! Vale exclaims, rushing to crouch near it. I've been looking for this exact coloring for ages. May I? She pulls out a pair of small shears from her dress pocket and gives the Lord a sweet smile. Torlon shakes his head.
Unfortunately, this plant, along with many others in our care, has become so rare that we don't extract it unless it gives itself to us of its own free will.
I see. Vale slowly puts her shears away, trying not to look disappointed.
Why have some plants become so rare?
Aeron asks. Lord Torlon smiles.
An excellent question. Any thoughts?
He peers around at us like an instructor with his students. Hickory looks up from his sketchbook. Perhaps because the rest of the woodlands are much drearier? It's so lush and green here.
Yes, though the woodlands weren't always such a dreary place,
Torlon says sadly. What happened? I ask, recalling the rotting parts of the forest we passed during our travels.
To explain that, I must first tell you more about one plant that we will not visit today, though it is our top priority. The sacred vine.
Lord Torlon motions upward beyond the trees, where we can just make out the vine's stalk climbing into the sky in the distance.
Does anyone know why the sacred vine is so important?
Vale hesitates. Because without it, all of Sylph territory wouldn't exist? I roll my eyes. What a tragedy that would be.
This is true, Lord Torlon confirms. But just as all living things in Eldor grow from the vine's branches, it is our belief that it is the same here on the land, that the sacred vine connects us all. As our creation story explains, it's where all life in Phelan began. All plants come from and are connected to the vine. It communicates to the entire world through its roots that stretch through our land.
A dark cloud seems to fall over Torlon's glimmering eyes.
Ever since the moon rain drought began, the sacred vine has suffered and is slowly dying. This is why our clan holds fast to the moon rain dance, hoping it will one day return. Because when the sacred vine suffers, we all suffer.
Scenes from my dreams and Hickory's painting spin through my mind. The world on fire, the vine crashing down. Out of the corner of his good eye, Hickory steals a glance at me, probably having the same thoughts.
That's why medical and food supplies are dwindling so quickly? Vale asks, looking back at the marshing fern.
Precisely.
Torlon nods solemnly.
That's partly why we created the protective barrier around Vindoria, to act as a sanctuary where we've been able to better care for the plants and creatures. We must save what we can. Though, of course, we cannot save everyone.
Lord Torlon motions us forward to a field covered in young, budding trees. They're surrounded by wildflowers and piled stones at their bases. The trees look strategically planted in rows upon rows. A sinking thought seizes me. Are those graves? I ask. Lord Torlon nods.
Yes, we plant a new tree for each life we have lost. And we have lost many to famine and plague over the years, including Alys's older sister.
He points to one of the more mature trees where Alys is already kneeling, her hand on the base of the trunk, her head hung low. An ache grows in my chest, remembering the utter despair that overwhelmed me at Gaius's tomb. By the tree's growth, I can tell it's been many years since Alys lost her sister. Yet, tears trail down her cheeks as if the pain of losing her hasn't softened with time, like I would have hoped it would.
Let us continue. Alys will follow,
Lord Torlon says gently. The others meander after him, but I linger for a moment behind a tree. Alys's hands slowly fall to the ground, her shoulders slumped. Then her muscles tighten as she tears out a handful of wildflowers in frustration and casts them aside. I think about going to her, not knowing what I would do or say, just that I know her pain. I hesitate as Alys wipes away her tears. Quickly glancing around, she doesn't seem to notice me and replants the wildflowers with care, removing a glove to press them into the dirt. As her tattoos take on a soft glow, the torn, bent flowers reconnect to the soil and bloom even wilder than before. Sighing, I step back, leaving before I'm noticed. All I can think of is what it must be like for Alys to have such an ability, but not be able to save her own sister.
Do you believe what the Dryad Lord said about the sacred vine? Vale asks as we spar.
The Queen has found a hidden cove for us to train in the forest, but all Vale wants to do is talk. Would it surprise you that I really couldn't care less? I bring my blade down and Vale barely blocks it in time. What I do care about is not having to try so hard to make you look capable of beating me in the final trial.
That's not fair,
Vale pouts.
I've gotten better.
I snicker. Not good enough. Not yet. Vale's shoulders slump as she draws in the dirt with her blade. I shake my head. I'm not going to get anything effective out of her while she's so distracted. What's wrong? I sigh, trying to channel some of Lord Torlon's patience. Vale shrugs.
I don't know. I guess I figured if my father was such a natural fighter, I would be too.
Well, you'll never become a great fighter with that attitude. Come, tell me why you want to be queen." "What?" Vale seems thrown off by the question. She lifts her chin. "What do you mean? It's my destiny as the Sylph Princess to follow in my parents' footsteps. Isn't that enough?" "Battle isn't just about physical strength. It's about strength of mind, too." I point a finger to my temple. "And I don't mean memorizing a million facts. You've got to know the goal behind your actions. You've got to have drive behind the swing of your blade to win." I swing my sword toward the branch of a tree, and it slices in two. The blade is only as strong as the one who wields it. I... Vale stammers. "What would be your first decree as queen?" I try to help her along. She just looks at me blankly. Has she really never thought about this before? "Okay, well, what would you want to do if you didn't become queen?" Vale's fair, freckled skin pales even more at the thought. I guess I like learning things. I'm good at it, at least. Ancient languages, potions. But honestly, I have no idea. My mother's never really been particularly interested in knowing what I find enjoyable. Maybe if my father was still here, he would." For the first time since I've known her, Vale grows still and quiet. Almost sad. Remembering the mother I barely knew, I wrap my dark curly hair around my finger, wondering if it's the only thing I inherited from her. I still don't know what connection she and her daggers might have to the mystics or the Pneuma. There's still so much I don't know. Things I wish I could ask her. Although, Vale studies her blade and swings it through the air. "It's strange. I might not be as good as my father was, but I do feel closer to him in times like this, doing something he loved." She looks at me as if she forgot I was here and shakes her head. "Must have been nice to have your father teach you all this stuff growing up." Nice isn't exactly the word I'd use. All I can remember from training sessions with my father are times filled with yelling and disappointed looks, and Gaius attending to my cuts and bruises when Phaedon wasn't looking. "You didn't really know your mother, right?" Vale asks without reservation, as if she's asking me about the weather. I sheath my blade with a snap. "I'd rather not talk about it," I say coolly. "Oh, so you can pry into my personal matters, but I can't ask you one simple question?" "I'm the teacher, you're the student." One of my father's favorite excuses. I clench heated fists. Obviously, Vale is done training for the day, and I'm not about to start a story-swapping session with her. "We'll pick this up again tomorrow." "Quinn, wait," Vale starts. But I've already walked away. Chapter 5. I walk back to the main village in a huff, whacking leaves and branches out of my way as I go. Who does Vale think she is, asking such questions? It's not because she cares about me or my mother. Not really. We can help each other get what we want, but I'm not going to bond with her. It's just not going to happen. As I enter the village, my mood instantly lightens. Unlike the quiet evenings, the space is alive with activity today. Lady Navi is gathered with a cluster of mothers, sorting baskets of fruits and healing herbs. Another group flies among the high branches, hanging clean linens as they chatter. One of them helps as a flock of sprites fly straight through the linens. She scolds them as they swoop around the trees with the local birds in a game of tag. On my right, a group of medics brush past, carrying in wilted plants and injured animals from the forest.
"This way."
Lord Torlon guides them with his staff toward a new tent set up for overflow. Past them, Layman and his warriors stand in a fenced-off area. Some practice their shifts to changeling forms while others spar, probably readying themselves for another scouting trip. Amidst the lively scene, there's something calming about the Dryad folk and their way of life. They move about their day at a much slower pace than the busy sylphs or performing nymphs. The air is fresh, the village is at peace. No wonder they've hidden their little sanctuary away from the rest of the world. Lost in it all, I don't notice Alys until I hear dragon footsteps stomping through. Alys straddles Toma's back, smiling from ear to ear as she pats his back. "Well, look who's up and about," I say warmly to the dragon. It's the first time I've seen Toma since he saved us. He's still pretty beat up, moving much slower than I remember. Surprisingly, he sniffs my hand and gently rubs his nose against it. Not so afraid of the fire-breathing beast anymore, I pat his scales gently.
"He's doing a lot better,"
says a high-pitched voice from atop the beast. For a moment, I think I'm hearing Alys miraculously speak, until one of her little sisters pokes out from behind her.
"His medic says it's time we take him for a walk."
She releases her wings and flutters down to the ground, Alys following close behind. Well, I'm very glad to hear that. I look down at the little sprite with colorful flowers woven into her long braids. Her bright white smile practically glows against her dark skin, which is lined with green tattoos. "And who might you be?"
"I'm Ivy, Alys's sister. Well, one of them anyway. But the best one, right, Alys?"
Ivy smiles up at her before turning back to me, talking a mile a minute.
"You're Captain Shade, aren't you? I've heard so many stories. Like the one where you fought off 50 sylph guards by yourself in the middle of Shree and made off with their trove of pixie dust and weapons."
I smile, seeing my own childhood curiosity and love for adventure in her demeanor. Some of the details of her story are vastly exaggerated, like the number of guards and the fact that I definitely hadn't done that job alone. I wonder whether I should correct her, but she doesn't give me the chance.
"I bet you have so many more stories, too. Could you tell me one?"
Ivy asks, her big brown eyes wide and eager. Alys puts a hand on her sister's shoulder, shaking her head, and signs something to her. Ivy hurriedly signs back. "What did she say?" I ask Ivy, fascinated by the exchange. Ivy huffs.
"She said your real name is Quinn and that I should be more polite. Sorry, I get in trouble a lot for asking too many questions."
"That's okay. Thanks for the translation." I laugh as Alys smiles at her sister. "Actually, Ivy, I'll make you a deal, if your sister is okay with it." I crouch down until our eyes are level. Alys and I have been trying to communicate, but I don't know how to read her signs. How about I trade you some stories in exchange for some signing lessons? Ivy's eyes light up. She looks at Alys expectantly. Alys chews her lip. I can tell part of her wants to approve. As many questions as I have for her, I sense there are things she wants to communicate to me as well.
"Ivy."
Layman strides up, placing a strong hand on her shoulder. I purse my lips as I slowly rise to meet his intense gaze.
"I think Mother is looking for you,"
he says to Ivy, though his glower is still intently focused on me. Ivy peers up at him.
"Aw, but I was just—"
"No, Ivy,"
he says firmly.
"Alys, why don't you go with her? Make sure she doesn't get into any more trouble."
Alys's brows furrow. Layman narrows his eyes right back until she gives up. Though Alys is older, Layman obviously sees himself as the one in charge. It reminds me of Gaius, and my chest tightens. I almost miss our bickering. I would give anything to have him here still, even if it was just to have him reprimand me one more time. Alys doesn't seem to feel the same. She grips Ivy's hand tightly, and they fly back to the top of the dragon. With a tap from Alys, Toma lumbers away. Ivy looks longingly back at me, not happy about the situation in the least.
"What do you think you're doing?"
Layman grabs my arm hard and pulls me under the shadow of a nearby tree.
"Ivy doesn't need someone like you filling her head with any more crazy thoughts."
Someone like me? I yank my arm away. I was just—
"And I don't know what you want with Alys, but I'm warning you, stay away from her too. Eat our food, enjoy our hospitality, and compete in your useless trial. Live or die, I don't care. Just stay away from my family, pirate. Or else."
My blood boils. I want to yell back. And yet, how can I hold his threats against him? I am a pirate who repeatedly looted their clan in the past without mercy. He was probably a part of some of those very hunting parties that my crew used to steal from. There's no reason he should trust me. Fine, I say, though I don't really mean it. I don't need him watching my every move, but I don't want him to think I'm weak either. You better watch yourself too, Wooder, I warn, daring to use the term for a lowly Dryad. I lift my chin. For all you know, I might be your future queen.
Ha!
Layman spits out a laugh.
Can you really be that naive? If the Sylphs lose, what makes you think they'll give up their power so easily? Just because of a simple agreement? And if they win, do you think the other clans will accept it quietly? Mark my words, this competition isn't going to resolve anything. So, when that all goes down...
He pats the bow on his back.
I'll be ready.
Pointing his finger at me, he backs away.
In the meantime, keep your distance, pirate. I'm warning you, stay away.
As Layman disappears into the crowd, I lean back against the trunk of the tree. I can't even be mad at him. He's right. The Queen is already doing everything in her power to make sure that Vale wins, even going so far as to bribe me. Though I respect Layman's protectiveness of his family, I need the Queen's deal to work.
Well, that went well,
a voice says from above. Hickory is lounging on an upper branch of the tree with his sketchbook in hand and a pixie dust pipe in his mouth. Layman seems to like me more and more every day, I joke back, shaking off the encounter. How long have you been up there?
Long enough.
Hickory shifts over on the branch.
It's a great view from up here. Come and see.
Hickory's right. As I make my way up, more and more of Vindoria comes into view. Their treehouse homes climb all the way up the trunks into the high branches as vine-wrapped bridges and branch-bended stairs create a maze of connections between them. Dryads poke out of tree holes, calling to each other as the sound of twittering birds fills the air. A group of sparrows flies through cascading beams of light, one landing in a branch above us. I settle down on Hickory's seeing side so he doesn't have to keep shifting his head, leaning over to view his latest sketch of the village. He's captured each detail perfectly. Wow, I whisper, wishing I could create something so beautiful. What else do you have in there?
Mostly sketches of the plants Lord Torlon mentioned, so I can study them. Use some of my watercolors to differentiate them, too. Here's the red kinto berries. Great supply of energy. Not sure how important all of these will be in the trial, but I want to be ready.
As Hickory flips through a few more, I realize I've already forgotten more than half of them. I try to commit them to memory as Hickory continues.
I think you'll be much more interested in this, though.
Hickory's voice heightens with excitement as he flips to the back.
I'm making some progress translating the tome symbols, though it's slow going.
At least it's something, I encourage, trying to make sense of the scattered notes he's made on each sheet. It looks like a jumbled mess to me.
The best part so far, he continues, is that I came across the mystic prophecy I told you about. There seems to be even more to it than I realized. I can't read the extra sections yet, but I'm hoping to make sense of them soon.
Excellent. What did you write here? I ask, grabbing the book.
Wait, give it back.
Hickory reaches for it in a panic, but I'm too quick. So quick that some loose pages peek out. What's this? I ask playfully, realizing it's something he doesn't want me to see.
Nothing.
Hickory tries to snatch it back from me again without success. Holding it far enough away, I tug out the collection of pages, growing silent as I stare. They're all masterful sketches of us, the competitors, at different points in our journey. Vale tending to the plants in the royal gardens, Alys trying to free the Leviathan in Isinglass, me threatening a group of goblins with my daggers, Aeron stuck up a tree in a Dryad trap. I let out a chuckle at that last one. Hickory, these are amazing. They're not his usual portraits or still life. You've drawn all these from memory?
I figure I'll eventually be commissioned to chronicle the competition, as long as I don't die in the trials,
he says, running a nervous hand down the back of his neck. Might as well get a head start while the memories are fresh. I flip through a few more. There's one of Vale singing, another of Aeron and I dancing at the masquerade. I try not to blush at that one. Then Vale in her starfish dress, Alys being followed by all the forest animals, Vale in the plant nursery, Vale smiling at Hickory in his squid costume as he holds up the vial of ink. There sure are a lot of sketches of Vale. Wait a minute. I stop, looking at Hickory with wide eyes. He's the one blushing now. Do you have feelings for Vale? The sound of the Queen's voice chills me. Below, the Queen leads Vale under the tree we're sitting on, and both Hickory and I hold our breath.
I thought you were supposed to be working with your trainer for the afternoon, my dear, the Queen says coolly. Not lollygagging about the village.
I was, Mother, Vale insists. But my trainer abandoned me. You should be reprimanding her. If Father were here, he would...
It's hard to see the Queen's face, but when Vale halts in her response, I know it can't be a happy expression.
Well, he's not here, Vale. I am, the Queen counters.
I'm sorry. Vale rushes to apologize. Don't worry, I'll find her. She has to be around here somewhere.
If they only knew how close I really am.
The Queen sighs.
Vale, it's my job to worry. You know I have so many other things on my plate without you being behind in the competition. You cannot fall in the ranks any further. Do I make myself clear?
Vale's head drops.
Oh, my dear.
The Queen sighs, tucking a strand of Vale's red hair back into place.
I'm only hard on you because I know your potential.
Her hand drifts to Vale's chin, and she lifts it to meet her eyes a bit forcefully.
Everything I do is for your own good. Do you understand?
Yes, Mother. Vale nods, her chin still in her mother's grip.
Good.
The Queen nods back.
Now come along. Let's go find that trainer of yours.
As they leave, Hickory and I sigh with relief. But as much as I fear for myself and what the Queen will do when she finds me, regret over leaving Vale in the woods creeps in. I know the pain of a demanding, disappointed parent all too well. Thankfully, I'm able to avoid Vale and the Queen the rest of the day. The next morning, I make sure to show up to our training session early, ready to get to work. But it isn't Vale who's waiting for me in our usual spot in the woods.
Hello, Captain,
the Queen says. An empty bird cage sits on the ground next to her as she inspects the rose bushes nearby. Your Majesty. I bow my head. Where's Vale?
Oh, she'll be along in a minute,
the Queen assures me, taking out a pair of shears to cut a flower for herself.
I wanted to have a word with you first. I don't think I made myself as clear as I intended the other day.
Your Highness, before you say anything, I begin. I want to apologize for my behavior with Vale. It won't happen again.
Oh, I'm sure it won't.
She snips the flower.
Because if you don't train my daughter as you promised, I will not allow Vale to prepare you for this trial or any other to come.
She straightens and holds the flower to her nose, taking in the aroma.
In fact, I will be overseeing your training sessions from now on. Until I am thoroughly satisfied with Vale's progress, she will not help you study for the trial of life at all.
There's no tone of anger or frustration in her voice. She simply states the cold, hard facts, completely composed. She peers up at me from the flower, a glint in her eye.
Do I make myself clear?
I swallow hard. Perfectly, Your Majesty.
Good.
She bends to pick up the bird cage and opens the tiny barred door, letting out a soft whistle. A sparrow flutters in from the trees and lands in the cage. The Queen feeds it a seed and snaps the door shut.
Oh, and one more thing.
She walks towards me and stops at my side, her voice lowered to a whisper.
I would choose your friends wisely, Quintessa. The wrong company can easily lead you astray, distracting you with things that are not your business, nor your concern, inviting only trouble. Neither of us want that, do we? Friends, distractions, trouble. I search her unblinking eyes, panic rising in my chest. Is she talking about Aeron again or Hickory? How does she know so much? Whatever the case, the response she wants from me is clear. No, we don't. Chapter 6. Needless to say, I don't skip out on any more training sessions with Vale. And just like the Queen promised, she's always there to watch us. I work Vale harder than ever, though I also try not to be snarky while doing it. She's definitely making progress, but without her help concerning the Dryad plants, I'm panicking for myself. Though the Queen warned me to stay away from the others, she also didn't leave me much choice. I convinced Hickory to let me borrow his sketches to study, in exchange for me not telling Vale about his feelings for her. I still don't understand it. Most of the time, she treats him like dirt. He insists there's more to her. Either way, like anything I might feel toward Aeron, it's a lost cause. I also catch Ivy alone anytime Layman is off hunting or patrolling for goblins. Learning how to sign is harmless enough, right? If I can communicate with Alys about the symbol on her arm, maybe it'll help Hickory and me learn more about the ancient book. With Ivy's constant demands for more stories before she teaches me anything, I don't learn half as much as I'd hoped. But it's a start. I don't get much opportunity to practice either. As the next trial arrives, all thoughts about the pneumanic symbol and the tome are pushed from my mind. The sun dips behind the trees and gray clouds form above, as the air grows cold and damp. As usual, no rain comes. The 5 of us are met by a Dryad servant holding a platter of fruit.
Is this dinner?
Aeron asks. There are only 5 round pieces of faerie fruit that the servant holds out to us.
Don't we need our energy?
A proper celebration feast will follow the trial, she explains. This fruit is freshly picked from Lord Torlon's own garden, providing optimal energy for your trial tonight. I sigh and snatch up the one closest to me. Biting through the skin, I focus on the rich flavors, trying to calm my nerves. Approaching the edges of Vendoria, Lord Torlon meets us near a large archway that's been drawn on the sanctuary's stone barrier. It must be where the other clans have entered to witness the trial. As Dryads look out of windows in the trees, the clan leaders and other visiting fae gather on the ground with us in wonder at the wooded scene. The full moons peek out from the clouds, lighting the small clearing with the help of a series of lit torches and clusters of fireflies dancing overhead. Alys stands next to me, staring at her mother and the rest of her siblings. Ivy discreetly moves her hands in a motion that I now know the meaning of. Good luck. She smiles. I give her a small nod. I've enjoyed our encounters more than I expected. On the Minnow, I had younger crew members, like Luna, but by the time I found them, most were old enough to have lost the innocent spark that still lights Ivy's eyes. If I'd had a younger sister like Ivy, I think I would have enjoyed it. Looking back at her siblings, though, one is missing. Alys, I whisper. Where's Layman? Though I can actually sign this to her now, I'm not about to show off my newfound skill in front of all of Phelan. Alys purses her lips and shakes her head. He isn't coming? I know he despises the competition, but he can't even come to support his sister? I chomp into my fruit again as the Dryad Lord calls for attention.
Today, the Dryad clan brings forth the trial of life.
He raises his walking staff to address the crowd.
A true ruler protects their folk and their world, valuing the precious gift of life, having the wisdom to know when to take it and when to preserve it, even at their own expense.
Lord Torlon then looks to the 5 of us.
To be found worthy of this trial, you must enter the dark forest and gather specific healing plants. You see, each of you has been infected with the same illness, which, if not treated fast enough, could be lethal.
My chewing slows, and I gape at the Dryad Lord. He seemed so kind, so fair. But infecting us without us even knowing it? This has to be the cruelest trial yet. Vale hurriedly inspects her skin for signs of disease. How did we get infected?
You ingested your poison through the fruit you ate just moments ago.
I spit out the fruit, coughing into the dirt. It's too late. I've already eaten most of it. My fellow competitors look equally shocked. Even Alys. I wonder to what extent her healing abilities stretch. She healed the jackalope, but can she heal herself? Dryad attendants carry out 5 potted plants, each of them bearing the exact kinds of fruit we ate. Only the plants are glowing.
Each of you have eaten from one of these plants, enchanted with pixie dust, tying your life source to its own survival.
Lord Torlon explains.
While you're in the forest, we'll be able to monitor you based on the condition of your plant. Attached to each, we have recorded the illness and its symptoms. Your job is to identify the 3 plants that will cure each symptom.
A chain is slung over my head, and I jerk back as a spherical pendant lands on my chest. I turn over the transparent orb with my fingers, and the liquid inside starts to glow.
These pendants will help light your way,
Lord Torlon continues.
The juice inside has been taken from the fruit of your plant. As you traverse the woods, it will glow brighter as you near the remedy plants.
I grasp the pendant tight between my fingers. At least I won't be going into the dark forest completely blind.
When you have cured yourself, you may return. Those who return first will be ranked higher than the rest, but points will be docked for unnecessarily destroying life in the forest, even if you are provoked.
Lord Torlon motions to the potted plants.
When you are ready, you may learn of your curse and enter the forest.
All 5 of us dart toward our plants. The leaves on mine are already wilting. I snatch the parchment tied to it with a shaking hand. Disease, fascal delirium. Symptoms, fatigue, rash, hallucinations. If not treated, death. Great. I take hold of the pendant around my neck and sprint through the archway into the forest. I only remember 1 of the healing plants out of the 3. I'll be dead by dinner. As I leave the safety of Vindoria, the dense woodlands is a maze of endless trees. The light of the moons casts blue hues over the normally green forest, creating flickering shadows that play with my mind as the ominous call of an owl screeches from somewhere overhead. How in Phelan am I supposed to find anything here? At least I have the soft glow of the pendant around my neck, but when I hold it out in front of me, it only illuminates a few feet ahead. As I trudge on, my feet slow with each crunching step. My shoulders slump, as if someone has heaved a burden over them. No, this heaviness feels deeper than that, as if it seeped into my body and buried itself in my chest. My eyes droop in the dim light. I force them open. I haven't gone that far. How can I already be tired? I lean my hand against the cracked bark of the nearest tree, realizing I'm struggling to catch my breath. Then it hits me. The first symptom is setting in. Fatigue. All I want to do is lie down in the moss and sleep it off. Another part of my brain screams that it won't do any good. This will only get worse if I don't find an antidote. And there are worse symptoms yet to come. Gathering my quickly dwindling energy, I allow my eyes to close so I can focus, racking my brain for a plant that will help. Lord Torlon's teachings are a droning mumble in my memory. Thankfully, Hickory's drawings of the different plants are clearer. I mentally turn the pages until a bushel of bright red berries appear in my mind. Kinto berries, a plentiful source of energy. I look down at my pendant again. What did Torlon say? It'll glow brighter when we are near the right plants. I take a few steps forward and the glow dims slightly. I step to the right, about the same. A few steps to the left and then backward. The glow intensifies. A headache takes root at my temple, but I force my feet to move in the glow's direction. As I round a large tree trunk, the pendant is blazing so bright it lights everything in sight, including a bush of shiny red berries. There's already a puck there in front of it with stark white hair. Hickory. He has his back to me, pulling off the berries in large handfuls, tossing some into his mouth and more into a pouch at his side. Soon they'll all be gone. "Hey!" I call, and the puck turns. It isn't Hickory. It's Gaius. My breath hitches, lodging in my throat. I was short of breath before. Now I feel as if the air has been kicked out of me. It can't be. But there he is, standing right in front of me. Alive. His hair is longer, but the scars from his burns run from his jawline all the way down his neck. I'm afraid to breathe or blink, for fear that he might disappear. I take a careful step forward. Gaius. His eyes go wide. He bolts. "No! Wait!" I lunge after him. The underbrush of pine needles and burrs scratch my arms. Branches pull at my tunic, threatening to slow me down. I urge my burning legs to follow after the wisps of white hair dashing through the trees. My clothes grow slick with sweat, my pulse roaring in my ears. He's alive. Something deep inside always told me somehow, some way, he couldn't be dead. But why is he running? "Gaius, stop! It's me!" I cry out. Finally gaining on him, I reach out and pull him backward. I flip him around and pin him against the nearest tree. He tries to wriggle out of my grasp. I hold his arms against the bark as firmly as I can. "Gaius, calm down." I try to speak softly while using the energy I have left to keep him still. His frantic eyes dart from me to the darkness around us. "It's me, Quinn. It's all right. Nothing is going to hurt you." His eyes narrow.
Nothing, huh? What about you?
He practically spits. He looks down at my hands around his arms, and I feel him tremble beneath my touch. What? His words shoot like lightning through my body, and I nearly let go of him from the shock. He's afraid I'll burn him again. His look is crazed. He doesn't know what he's saying. Something else truly terrible must have happened to him out here. I tighten my grip. I need to make him understand. "No, Gaius. That was an accident, a mistake. I'm your sister. You know I would never—"
"Never leave me?"
His face twists angrily.
"You mean like when you promised you wouldn't, and then left anyway? You left me with our father, of all folk."
Another stab to the gut. My head pounds as he squirms to break free. I can't lose him. Not again. I won't survive it. "Gaius, I'm so sorry, but you have to listen to me," I plead. "I don't know where you've been. They told me you were dead. We buried you. And ever since that day, I've been trying to make up for what I did."
"You mean by joining the Ethodine?"
He scoffs.
"Did you really believe that taking my place in this competition would make up for anything? Would change anything?"
He laughs darkly.
"Like always, the only faerie you're thinking of is yourself. Father was right after all. You're a screw-up, and you're dangerous. All you do is hurt others. You're doing it right now."
His last words turn into a scream of pain, and I look down at my hands. They don't feel hot, but they're bright red, burning into his flesh. "No!" I yell and let go. He pushes past me, holding his arms as he breaks through the brush. "Gaius!" I run after him again. I need to apologize. He needs a medic, and fast. But as I dart after him, I feel myself slowing, the fatigue growing worse. Still, I push off the trees to propel myself forward, desperate not to lose him again. I trip over something big. My knees and elbows skid against the ground as I fall hard, dirt and pebbles stinging my skin. I hiss with pain. When I lift my hand, it's covered in something sticky. Mud? Sap? I flip my hand over, the pendant around my neck illuminating my bright red palm. It's blood. It's smeared across my hand and my tunic. I turn to see what I stumbled over, and my heart shreds into pieces. It's Gaius's body. His frantic eyes stare up at the sky as his body shakes, blood dripping from his arms and chest. "No!" I shriek. The sound tears at my throat as I rush to his side. My hands hover over his body, afraid to touch him. I look for something I can do, anything. He's already lost so much blood, and his skin is deathly pale. Grief and rage ricochet through my body. I'm shaking. My heart is pounding. How is this possible? I just saw him alive, and now he's dying. Again. His eyes roll back into his head, and I grip my teeth. No. I can't stop myself anymore. I clutch his shoulders and pull his limp body against my chest. Squeezing him close, I breathe hard into his shoulder. "No, Gaius, please don't leave me again. Don't go." Pressure builds behind my eyes and grows in my chest. It's so overpowering I think it might crush my heart. I hope it will. But it doesn't. There's no release, no relief from the pain. "I'm so sorry, brother. This is all my fault. You should have been the one who lived." I squeeze him harder, my voice breaking. "Please don't go. I can't do this without you. Take me with you, please. Take me with you."
Quinn.
The word blows into my hair. I pull back from the body in my hands. It's not Gaius. Chapter 7. "Hickory?" I ask, shaking my head. Hickory blinks up at me, mirroring my shock. He opens his mouth to speak, but I cut in first. "How did you—" I squeeze his shoulders, peering around frantically for Gaius, and then back down at Hickory. His shirt is stained with red. I jump back. "Hickory, you're bleeding!"
I am?
He looks down and feels for a wound. Instead, his hand finds a pouch looped on a leather band across his chest. He breathes.
It's okay. It's not blood.
He opens the flap to reveal half-squished kinto berries. I turn my red palm over again and slump backward on the ground, so utterly exhausted and confused. I sniff. Instead of the tang of blood, the scent is fresh and sweet. My eyes dart to the forest around us, my chest still rising and falling uneasily. What happened? And where is Gaius? Was he ever really here?
I don't know.
Hickory starts, looking back toward the trees.
After I found the kinto berries, I thought I heard something. When I turned, there was a black figure surrounded by swirling clouds of smoke.
A goblin? I ask.
I don't know, maybe. Whatever it was, it chased me and I ran. I looked back a few times. Its darkness was growing, swallowing up the forest as it went. It took hold of me once and I got away, but it tracked me here and pinned me to the ground. Everything went pitch black. I couldn't see or hear anything. I could barely breathe, as if the life was being crushed out of me. I thought I was going to die.
He looks up at me.
Then I heard your voice.
My voice? My heartbeat slows as I put the pieces together.
I didn't know what you were saying, but I knew it was you. Slowly, the darkness dissipated, and I found you hugging me.
I look at the ground. I thought I was holding Gaius, I whisper, realizing what must have happened.
Gaius?
Hickory asks. Then the answer dawns on him, too.
It must have been another one of the symptoms. The hallucinations are kicking in.
I nod. Hickory's eyes soften. I don't have to explain my hallucination for him to know what I saw. I still can't believe it. It all felt so real. But Gaius was never really here. I was chasing Hickory, and he was running from me. It was all in our heads. Our greatest fears come to life. I didn't think anything could be worse than my actual nightmares. This was much worse. A rush of cold flows through me, and my eyes grow heavy and droop. I'm either about to throw up or pass out.
Quinn!
Hickory catches me before I hit the ground. He grabs some of the remaining berries from his pouch.
Eat this. Quickly now.
He pushes them into my mouth, and I force myself to chew and swallow. My headache slowly eases its grip on my skull, and energy returns to my tired muscles. I look up at Hickory, his eyebrows knitted together with worry, and give him a reassuring nod. Though a part of me wishes he really had been Gaius, I'm glad to have someone else looking out for me. Thanks, I say, sitting up. Hickory helps pull me to my feet.
Here, why don't you hold on to these until you're sure you feel 100%?
He hands me the pouch of berries.
I ate plenty before.
I nod and tie it to my belt, silently thankful to not be alone in the forest any longer.
Quinn?
Hickory taps my shoulder.
We can't have the same hallucinations, right?
I don't think so. Why?
Because I think I see Alys.
Afraid of what I may see next, I turn slowly. A few yards away, Alys is on her knees, hands over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. As we draw closer, I see she's looking into an open clearing, lit up by moonlight. Bodies of dead lynxicorns cover the field. What in Phelan? I step toward the clearing to get a better look, but Hickory grabs my arm.
Look there.
He lowers his voice to a whisper, pointing to a group of dark-winged figures descending on the corpses. Goblins. It seems that they've killed the lynxicorns who were once under their control. Now some of them are bent over the beasts, making horrible chomping sounds.
Quinn, real or illusion?
Hickory whispers.
Are those goblins doing what I think they're doing?
I nod, holding back the bile climbing up my throat. The goblins are feeding on the lynxicorn's raw flesh. I'm so sorry, Alys, I say softly. This must be killing her, but she doesn't move. Unsure of what to do next, the glow of my pendant increasingly catches my attention. I hold it out toward the moonlit clearing. To my dismay, it glows all the brighter. The pendant wants us to go out there? Beyond the goblins feasting, a large stone structure stands on the other side of the clearing, covered in climbing vines. Guys? I swallow. I think the next plant we need might be near that building.
You mean the one on the other side of the field of death?
Hickory asks, already shaking his head. I think if we follow the circle of trees, we can make it there without catching the goblins' attention, I say. It might even be a good place to hide out until they move on. Alys isn't listening. Her breathing deepens, turning to seething gasps. Grabbing a fallen tree branch, she lets her wings loose and flies straight toward the goblins. Alys, no! I reach out for her, but she's already out in the clearing, swinging at the goblins. They leave their carcass meals, flocking to her with bloodied teeth and sharp talons. With the charred creatures distracted, a clear path to the stone structure is laid out for us. I look back at Alys. She takes down a goblin with one swing to the jaw, another by jamming the branch through its gut. The rest descend on her, yanking her down, raking their talons across her arms and back. I look at Hickory. His eyes say he can't leave her either. Hey! Hey, uglies! Over here! I step out of the brush, waving my hands in the air. Hickory follows my cue.
Why have only one fairy snack when you can have 3?
Dozens of goblin heads turn to us, abandoning Alys to begin another chase. Unfurling my wings, I whip across the field. Follow me! As we fly, I glance over my shoulder. A horde of them are gaining on us, and Alys is still struggling to take down the few that surround her. An idea takes hold. I make a wide turn in the air.
What are you doing?
Hickory follows.
Isn't leading them back to Alys a little counterintuitive?
Get ready to grab an arm, I tell him. Hickory nods. Reaching Alys, we yank her out of the goblin's clutches. At first, she kicks and swats at us, obviously not satisfied with the extent of pain she was able to inflict on the creatures. Then her body slowly goes slack, growing heavier in our arms. Her bloodied wounds glisten in the moonlight. Come on! I guide Hickory through a wide turn in the air again. The remaining goblins join the hunt after us, shrieking as they chase.
Where are we headed now?
He struggles to hold on to Alys's arm. His bat-like wings aren't as strong as mine. There! I pull him along, flying as fast as my wings can carry me. If we head back into the trees, the goblins can easily catch up. If we want to survive, the stone fortress is our best bet. We land and stumble toward the structure's stone door, putting Alys down to push the door open with all our might.
"It's not budging,"
Hickory says through gritted teeth. Goblins land on the steps below, displaying fanged sneers. One of them launches itself at Alys with a growl, but Alys doesn't even bother to shield herself. Heat rising in my gut, I let go of the door and jump in front of her. I lift my bare hands to take the brunt of the goblin's blow. "Don't you touch her!" Before I know it, the searing heat in my gut shoots from my chest, burns through my veins, and fire erupts from my hands. The ash-colored goblin bursts into flames and stumbles backward as it shrieks and grabs at its burning flesh. It struggles to fly and eventually tumbles to the ground, rolling around to put out the fire engulfing its body. The other goblins watch in horror, momentarily distracted by their fallen comrade. Alys's eyes are now wide and alert. Hickory holds the same expression. Both of them are staring at my hands. They've seen my secret. I'll have to deal with that later. We aren't safe yet. "Hickory, the door!" I point. Somehow, it's cracking open. Chapter 8. As Hickory pushes against the door, I grab Alys and fly inside. Hickory follows just as the goblins turn from their smoldering friend and spring into the air after us. Thankfully, we aren't the only ones on the other side of the door. Vale and Aeron must have been pulling on the large handle, because they're now hurrying to push it closed again. Moving to help, I catch sight of mossy green spots speckling their skin. The rash. "Hey, a little help here!" Vale yells, and I pull my eyes away from her skin, throwing my body against the door. The goblins whiz toward us. With all of our combined strength, the door closes shut with a loud thud just in time. Goblins shriek as claws scrape against the stone. But we're safe. For now. Panting, I face the others inside the dark structure. Alys and Hickory stare at me again.
"Okay, so, real or illusion?"
Hickory urges me to answer in a fearful yet excited tone. His eyes dart back and forth from my hands to my face. Alys looks at me with wide eyes, as if asking the same question, while holding her bleeding arm. I shrug at Alys. Guess you're not the only one with secrets. "Are you serious?" Vale asks. I freeze. Did she see my fire too? She's not looking at me, though. She's struggling to scratch her back where I'm sure the rash has traveled. "Of course those goblins are real. What were you doing out there anyway? You could have gotten yourselves killed." A sigh rushes out of me. At least Vale didn't see my hands ablaze. I give Hickory a warning glance not to say another word.
"I think what Vale means is, are you all okay?"
Aeron scratches his chest violently, though his gaze is focused on me. I think so. I peer into the dark room. Thankfully, there don't seem to be any windows that could let in the goblins. Our glowing pendants are the only source of light, illuminating only the small space around us. Where are we? I hold up my pendant like a lantern toward Vale and Aeron. And why are you two here together? "My pendant led me here," Vale says defensively. "I entered through a back door covered by some vines, but I haven't found a remedy anywhere, and this rash just keeps spreading." She runs her nails down her trousers.
"Same here. Just look at it."
Aeron reveals his arms, where his perfect tan skin is tainted by green splotches.
"I was afraid I was becoming a plant myself until I came across Vale here a few minutes ago. We were about to leave when we heard your voices outside."
"Well, thanks for that,"
Hickory says to Aeron begrudgingly, leaning against the nearest wall as sweat beads down his face.
"But we don't have much time, especially Alys."
Alys is still on the ground, holding her arm. Blood streams out, soaking her sleeve.
"If you could show us this back entrance, I think we'd all like to get out of here."
Hickory shudders at the darkness.
"Then we can each go our separate ways."
"I've got Alys." I throw one of her arms over my shoulder as the others lead the way. "What's happening to you?" I whisper to her. The slashes on Alys's arm and back are long and deep, cutting through her beautiful tattoos as a green film oozes out. Is the mossy rash crossing with her goblin wounds? Or are the goblin's talons poisonous themselves? Alys gives a defeated shrug. Blast! What good is your gift if you can't heal yourself? Digging my hand into the pouch Hickory gave me, I pull out some of the kinto berries and push them into her mouth. Here, maybe this will help. That's all I can do. Though I hate it, once we leave the safety of this place, I know I should focus on making sure Vale gets back to Vendoria first. I can't have the Queen angrier than she already is. But can I really leave Alys on her own like this?
Come on, you two.
Aeron calls to us through the darkness.
Let's get out of here.
As Alys and I stand, torches along the walls ignite. Blazing light fills the large stone hall, and I freeze with Alys still against my side. The space is nearly 3 times larger than I originally thought. What just happened? Vale asks. Hickory looks at me as if I've done something. This isn't me. At least, I don't think so. Looking around, the room is fairly empty. There's just a hallway back near the front door. Something moves into the hallway's shadowed entrance, and I jump back as a figure emerges. He's dressed just like the strange cloaked fairies I saw in Shree, his worn hood covering his face. He just stands there, waiting for something. Hold on. Is he the one who lit the torches? The figure bows his head before backing up, disappearing into the dark hallway. The memory of the voice in Shree speaking into my mind comes back to me.
If you want to learn what really happened to him, you will follow me.
If this is the same hooded figure, maybe he still has the answers I need. Against my chest, my pendant's glowing pulses. Hey! I call after him. Wait! I quickly but carefully sling Alys onto my back as her arms droop over my shoulders and sprint into the hallway.
Quinn!
Aeron's voice echoes off the walls. I saw something! I'll be right back! I yell.
It could be another hallucination,
Hickory calls as their pounding footsteps follow me down the hall. You've got to be kidding me, Vale complains. With Alys's arms dangling over my shoulders, I dart down the hallway as fast as I can, chasing the figure's shadow through a doorway into a darkened room. Slowing, I thrust the glow of my pendant forward into the dim space. There's no trace of the cloaked figure. It's just a dark room with an archway on the other end. It's what's on the other side of the archway that catches my attention. It appears to be a moonlit courtyard full of lush green plants. As I step deeper into the room, drawing closer toward the opening, the glow of my pendant pulses brighter than ever.
Quinn, where are you?
I hear Hickory shout from down the hall. This way, I call back, lowering Alys to the ground. I think I found one of the remedies. Was the hooded figure actually trying to help us find it? The others enter the room after me. The glow of their pendants casts more light into the space as I take a step toward the courtyard.
Quinn, wait!
Aeron's voice rings with warning. A tile beneath my foot shifts down before I can pull away. A heavy stone slab slams over the archway to the courtyard. I whip around just in time to see the same happen to the doorway we just came through. No! Vale lunges toward it. She's too late. She bangs her fist on the slab and then turns to me. Look what you've done! My stomach lurches. The hood hasn't helped us. He's trapped us in here. I curse. What was I thinking? Vale strides toward me, fingers outstretched as if ready to pull my hair out. Aeron steps in front of her.
Vale, relax. Quinn didn't know.
Of course she didn't. She never does. She never thinks about anyone but herself, Vale shouts, scratching more vigorously at her neck where the green rash has spread. Yet you're always defending her.
Aeron's right,
Hickory adds, surprising all of us, especially Aeron.
Turning on each other isn't going to do any good with the little time we have left. Our best chance is to spread out and find a way out of here as quickly as we can. If we do, we might be able to get access to that courtyard again.
Though I can't argue with Vale, I did get us into this mess. I give a nod of gratitude to Aeron and Hickory. Fine, Vale huffs, backing up. As the others split up to inspect the space, I turn and gasp. My pendant illuminates a towering sculpture of a faerie. Its stone face glares down at me. Glancing around, there are 5 of them that line the room in a circular formation around us. They're fairies from each clan, their wings spread out above them, holding a small object with an outstretched hand. Replicas of the 5 clan moonstones. It's what's behind them that surprises me the most. Archaic images are carved into the stone walls. Flora and fauna, flying fairies, even the wingless Numa with their dull ears. On the door now barring us from the courtyard, pneumanic symbols trail down the newly formed barrier. I recognize many of them from the passage Hickory has been studying in the tome. Hickory? I point to the symbols. Real or illusion?
Oh, this is real, all right.
Hickory holds up his pendant as he examines them.
I don't see anything except weird symbols.
Aeron looks exhausted as he crouches next to Alys, checking her wounds.
What is this place? I think we're in an ancient mystic temple.
Hickory gently traces his fingers over the etchings.
I thought these were all destroyed.
A temple? I ask.
They once used them to protect rare plants that they believed to be sacred and to worship the...
He looks back at me. He was probably about to say the word Numa. He casts a wary glance at Vale.
Anyway, they often set traps for trespassers, like the one Quinn triggered, leaving the only key to escape in secret codes like these.
It's pneumanic, Vale says in a soft, wonder-filled voice that doesn't seem to belong to her. She follows the markings with her fingers, mumbling to herself in a tongue I don't recognize.
Wait, you can read this?
Hickory's mouth hangs open, looking equal parts dumbfounded and impressed. Vale pulls her hand away from the wall. Yes, well, sort of. You can read the pneumanic language, I press. I told you, I have a knack for ancient languages, she says. The real question is, how do you know that this is pneumanic? I hesitate, then get an idea. Hickory may have taken a book about it from your library.
Quinn!
Hickory steps forward to stop me, but I put an arm out toward him. My library? Vale asks. Yeah, I say. Old, dusty, leather-bound, strange flower symbol on the cover. Ring any bells? If so, maybe I'll find out if it's the same book the Queen is after. Vale's eyes grow wide with recognition as she lunges toward Hickory. Thief! I've been looking everywhere for that text, and you've had it all this time? Grabbing Vale's wrist, I spin her around to face me. We'll catch you up when we're not all dying and trapped in some creepy temple, okay? Right now, we need to know what these markings say so we can figure out how to get out of here. And if you help us, we might even consider giving the book back to you.
What?
Hickory exclaims. I shoot him a look. I said might. Fine. Vale sighs as she scratches her shoulder. I'm not sure I'll get all of it right, but I'll try. She begins to read. Beasts revolt at darkest death. A tremble in the land will quake. War and famine on your breath. Order, peace, and unions break. The vine will wither, the sky will fall. The Numa's tale, take heed, you must. A plague will mark the end of all. It comes on wings of ash and dust. Stone and dust they must combine with every royal clan bloodline. Together when the moons align, the key to power is the sign. Hickory mutters the words back to himself as if trying to memorize it. Is it making sense now? I ask.
What does it mean?
Aeron adds from the floor. He's got Alys propped up against him, examining her wounds.
I don't know,
Hickory stammers.
It's just more riddles.
He scratches his neck, where green splotches have formed. The rash is setting in. I look down at myself, noticing a few spots on my arms. Great.
Guys, I think Alys has the rash too, and her wounds are getting worse,
Aeron says with more intensity, trying to keep her sitting upright. He puts a hand to her forehead.
She's burning up. We need to get out of here fast.
Riddles. I look around the room, starting to scratch at my own skin. What did it say at the end? Vale translates again. Stone and dust they must combine with every royal clan bloodline. Together when the moons align, the key to power is the sign. The key to power, I say. If the riddle is a clue on how to get out of here, the key to power could be what we need. The key is the sign. I look at the images on the walls. Maybe we need to find the pneumanic sign somewhere. Hickory, Vale, and I each search a different wall. We find vague depictions of the faerie clan serving the wingless pneuma, bowing or bringing offerings, but no sign of the symbol.
Guys?
Aeron is staring upward as Alys weakly points to the ceiling.
I don't know what the sign you're searching for looks like, but I think Alys found the moons.
We lift our glowing pendants to reveal a dome-shaped ceiling depicting the night sky. Indents in the shape of stars speckle the surface with a series of full moons running right down the middle. Together when the moons align, Hickory whispers. It's the moon harvest.
The moon harvest?
Aeron asks. It's a celestial event that only happens once every 10 years, Vale says. All the full moons align like an eclipse, so it appears as if there's only one moon in our sky.
Okay,
Aeron says.
So is that the sign we need?
No, I whisper, thinking back to the riddle. Stone and dust they must combine with every royal clan bloodline. I look at the fairy sculptures around us. They're all looking at the only surface of the room we haven't checked. Everyone stand back for a second. I need to see something. All but Alys move to the edges of the room. I point my pendant to the ground. There are grooves in the floor partially covered by dirt and dust. I start brushing it away with my feet, and other grooves appear. Frantically, I drop to my knees and swipe at the ground to uncover more. Hickory follows my lead, and soon we're all brushing away grime until a symbol takes shape. It's so large it takes up the entire floor. There are the 3 rings and the 10-petaled flower of the pneuma. Alys is seated in the middle of it all. She's on the center ring carved into a singular stone tile that's slightly pressed into the ground. Aeron, help me move Alys, I say. I think this is the tile that triggered the trap. Together, we shift her off of it, and I point to 2 grooves on either side. Maybe handles of some kind? Aeron jams his fingers into the grooves and pulls, the gills on his neck tensing. The stone doesn't budge.
It's too heavy. Even with all of us lifting, I don't think it will come up.
Wait. Stone and dust, they must combine.
Hickory mutters.
Remember how Lord Torlon said the liquid that fills our pendants was enchanted with pixie dust? What if we can use the dust's floating properties to elevate the stone?
He shakes his pendant, and some of the dust sprinkles over the circular stone. It trembles, lifting a little, then settles down again. Anxious to see if it will work, we each take positions around the tile and shake our pendants over the stone. Gradually, the tile rises and clicks back into place, flush with the floor. As it does, the stone slabs blocking the doorways rise, the one covering the hallway entrance, as well as the courtyard archway. Finally! Vale exclaims. She rushes into the courtyard as we grab Alys and follow her out into the moonlight. There's a glass ceiling and 4 walls. We must be in the center of the temple. Inspecting the overgrown vegetation, Vale follows her pendant until it leads her to a plant with 5 thick leaves, each the length of my forearm. It's a marshing fern, she exclaims. If we cut open the leaves, there's a liquid inside that's a perfect remedy for severe rashes. Pulling one off and peeling it open, Vale sucks on the inner liquid as well as layering it over her sores. She breathes out in relief, and Aeron follows her lead with the second leaf. Pulling off the other 3, Vale hands them to me. You and Hickory should drink this before your rashes get bad. First, give one to Alys. Its skin-healing properties may also help with her wounds from the goblins.
As I help Alys drink and apply the salve, Vale looks to the left of us. "Hickory, hurry up and grab your leaf."
"In a minute,"
he says. He's busy examining one of the courtyard walls.
"I found some markings over here that I've never seen before."
Vale sighs and shakes her head as I drink some of the liquid from my leaf. At least the green ooze and blood from Alys's gashes are beginning to dry up. Color returns to her skin and light to her eyes. Alys touches my arm with her gloved hand in gratitude. I smile.
"Leaving so soon?"
I hear Aeron ask. Vale is already heading back inside. We all stare at her. Even Hickory looks up from studying the wall. "Thanks for the help." There's a hint of guilt in her expression. Then she straightens her spine. "This is still a competition, though. One I can't lose." The Queen's face flashes in my mind. Keep your eye on the prize. Our silence speaks for itself. Though there's a measure of hurt in Hickory's eyes, he understands too. Our common purpose is done. At the end of the day, we all have our own agendas, and we can't let each other stand in the way. Still, Vale isn't as cutthroat as she lets on. She could have grabbed all the fern leaves and ran out. She could have let Alys die. But she didn't. Before I can say anything, she's gone. I know I should do the same. I should go make sure that Vale safely crosses the finish line first, and that I don't come in last myself. But Alys still isn't in great shape. She won't make it far without me. As I help her stand, Aeron takes hold of her other side. I stop. If I let him help, it could slow him down and allow Vale to get a bigger head start back to Vindoria. But I can't let the Queen find me with him again either. "I've got her," I tell him. "You should go."
"Are you sure?"
The ocean of color in his eyes swim with conflict. "I'm sure. No holding back, remember?" He smiles sadly at our saying.
"No holding back."
Slowly, he releases Alys's arm and steps back toward the door, watching me all the way until he disappears inside. Making sure Alys is steady on her feet, I turn to hand the final fern leaf to Hickory before leaving too. I find him standing in front of the markings that he's found on the courtyard wall, mumbling to himself. "Hickory, stop obsessing and take your medicine. We've got to get out of here." He doesn't move. "Hickory." I walk toward him. Still nothing. "Hickory." I pull at his shoulder. When he faces me, his good eye has gone completely white, just like an isinglass. I draw back. Real or illusion? "Hickory?" He grabs my arms, his nails digging into my skin. "Real. Very real." He chants phrases from the prophecy in an urgent yet monotone voice.
"Beasts revolt, war and famine, the Numa tale. Take heed, take heed."
"Hickory, stop! You're scaring me!" I try to pull out of his grasp. His hands are unusually strong, his fingers pressing even harder. "Hickory, snap out of it!"
"Stone and dust, moons align, the end of all. It's coming, it's coming,"
he chants louder and louder. "Hickory!" I yell, preparing to headbutt him if I have to. Alys hits him over the head with a rock first. Hickory goes limp and drops to the ground. I look at Alys, who leans against the wall for support. "Thanks." I let out a shaky breath. I'm still in shock, trying to understand what just happened. She shrugs with a weak smile, looking exhausted from just walking the few feet over to us. Hickory moans from the floor. Alys and I inch back, preparing ourselves for whatever he's about to do next.
"Wow, that hurts."
Hickory sounds like himself as he reaches for his head.
"How did I end up on the ground?"
I relax. I think he went into a trance or something. You're going to be fine now.
"Wait."
Hickory freezes, still looking down. "What's wrong?" He slowly turns his head and blinks up at us, his eyebrows furrowing. His good eye is no longer white. Still, there's something different about it. His breathing quickens. I bend down and put a hand on his shoulder,
searching his face for answers. Just like his misted blue eye, his brown eye that usually moves freely is stationary.
I can't see.
Hickory feels for my arm and grabs it like a lifeboat at sea.
Quinn, I can't see anything.
Chapter 9. Hickory closes his eyes and touches his eyelids with trembling fingers. He opens them, blinking frantically, and then does it all again as if trying to make sure his eyes are open. With every passing second, his chest heaves, his breathing more sporadic. "Don't panic, okay?" I tell him, even though I have no idea what to do.
Don't panic,
He shouts, feeling for my arm again and squeezing it so hard I fear it'll bruise. I've never seen him this undone before.
I've lost my sight. It's finally happened. What am I going to do?
We'll help you get out of here. It's going to be all right. First, we have to take care of your rashes. I look at Alys, and she nods in agreement as she dabs the fern's liquid on his blotchy skin. Hickory shakes his head.
You don't get it. My sight, my art, it's the only thing I can call my own. It's all I have, all that I am. And now it's gone.
He pauses.
You said I went into a trance. What did I do?
When I tell him about his prophetic ramblings, his eyebrows raise.
That's it. I'm cursed,
he cries out. You're not cursed. You thought you lost your sight before in the woods, remember? For all we know, this is another hallucination. We just have to find the last plant. Alys claps her hands to get my attention, and I look at her. She points to herself, and then the remnants of the fern. I don't get what she's trying to say. I look at Hickory, but without his sight, I can't count on him to know either. I could try something else. I lift my hands. I don't understand, I sign to Alys. I know the phrase well, since every time I said it out loud during my lessons with Ivy, she made me sign it instead. Use signs. I try again, grasping for more words I can remember. Alys's mouth drops open, her eyes blinking wide. Tentatively, she signs one word. How? Then she points to me. Ivy, I sign back. Ivy, help. Little. I shrug, hoping she'll get what I mean. The corner of Alys's mouth lifts.
Quinn, why is it so quiet? What's going on? Don't tell me I've lost my hearing too.
Panic rattles Hickory's voice again. Alys signs to me quickly, and I pick up the words. I know, healing, plant, and the number 3. It's okay, Hickory. Alys is offering to lead us to the 3rd healing plant. I tell him slowly, looking at Alys for confirmation that I've understood her correctly. She nods emphatically. I smile. A small voice inside tells me I should be doing this on my own. But without Alys, I wouldn't even know where to start. In her weakened condition, she won't get far without help either. At this point, no matter our rank, we all just want this to be over. Thankfully, there aren't any signs of the goblins when we get outside. Alys leads us across the field to a pond not far from where we were standing when we first spotted her. She must have been heading here before we came across her in the woods. Alys picks some orange wildflowers growing at the rim of the pond and crushes the pollen in her hand. Though Hickory is skeptical that it will help him, he eats the pollen powder with us, and soon his good eye begins to shift and peer around. Hickory blinks back tears as he turns to Alys and takes her hands in his.
Thank you,
he chokes out. More than ready to be finished with this trial, Hickory and I sling Alys's arms over our shoulders and follow her hand signals back to Vindoria, keeping our eyes peeled for any other dangers. We're just able to see the magical archway through the trees when the two of them stop short. What are you two doing? We're almost there, I say. Hickory looks at Alys, and she nods.
You go first, Quinn,
he says. What? Why? I ask.
We wouldn't have gotten this far without you.
I stare at them. Honestly, a huge part of me almost takes them up on the offer. The part that fears the Queen and wants that beautiful flying ship she's promised. But something inside me can't do it. What in Phelan is wrong with me? Shaking my head, I sling Alys's arm back over my shoulder. Today, these two are my crew, and the trial is the storm we just barely survived. No, I tell them. We finished together. I wouldn't have known about the Kinto berries without Hickory's help, and I could still be stumbling around in the forest looking for the last plant without Alys. I'm in their debt. But that ends here. As we enter the village arm in arm, gasps flutter through the crowd. I try to avoid the fuming stares of both the Queen and my father, and the equally surprised looks on Vale's and Aeron's faces. It's all easier to handle when Lord Torlon and Lady Navi rush to Alys. She collapses in their arms. "What happened?" Lady Navi exclaims, trembling at the sight of Alys's terrible-looking gashes. "The goblins attacked her," I explain.
"And you chose to save her."
Lord Torlon looks at Hickory and me with a mix of confusion and gratitude.
"Thank you. I cannot change your ranking, but in my mind you have proven yourselves the true winners of the trial of life."
Though I appreciate his sentiment, looking back at the Queen, I'm honestly relieved he can't. Thankfully, the Dryads fully deliver on the feast they promised. As I approach the terrace, a long banquet table is piled up with a vast array of savory and sweet dishes. The smells invade my senses as I look for an open seat. Her Majesty eyes me and then the seat next to her with intention. Feeling like I don't have much choice, I walk over and settle between her and Hickory. Vale sits across from her, while Aeron and Alys are seated farther down the table with their parents. Thankfully, Alys is looking much better. Even Layman has made an appearance, sitting next to Vale. He doesn't look happy about it. Next to him is my father. He glances my way briefly as I take my seat, then returns to staring at his plate. What a pair those two make with their matching scowls. The Queen hasn't said a word to me or looked in my direction. Frustration emanates off her like heat. Though Vale successfully emerged from the forest first, I'm sure the Queen didn't like the fact that I helped Alys and Hickory, when I could have been helping to keep Vale safe. Spotting a bowl of lily tarts in front of me, my focus shifts. Vale shoots me a look of disgust as I reach for them. I don't care what she thinks. To me, the stuff is as addicting as pixie dust. And besides, I could use some comfort food. I pop a few into my mouth. The flavor of this one is even more intense than I remember.
"Before we eat,"
Lord Torlon looks my way. I swallow hard, placing my hands back in my lap.
"I just wanted to say that you should all be proud of how you handled yourselves today. Considering they all almost died,"
Layman mutters under his breath.
"What did you say, my son?"
The Dryad Lord asks. At first, it looks as if Layman is going to say it was nothing. Then something shifts in his gaze.
"I was just saying,"
He speaks loud enough for the whole table to hear,
"that all the clan heirs could have died today, including Alys, and I know you wouldn't want me to be the next ruler."
Many around the table look down at their plates, pretending to be distracted. Feeling a tickle in my throat, I take advantage of the awkward exchange to let out a short cough. It cuts through the growing tension like one of my blades.
"I've never said that,"
Lord Torlon assures him.
"Not outright."
Layman stabs a piece of meat in front of him and points the fork at his father.
"But we all know you'd never agree to how I would lead."
Lord Torlon sighs, caught between the accusations of his son and the judgment of his guests.
"Layman, you're a great warrior, a valiant defender of our clan and the woodlands. But not everything can be solved with brute strength and war."
He eyes my father, who grumbles something under his beard.
"Unlike some clans, we are called to be peacekeepers. That is our place."
Alys tries to catch Layman's attention, warning him with a stare. He avoids her gaze. The tickle rises in my throat, and I try to clear it again.
How does risking the lives of your heirs in some stupid game keep the peace?
Layman demands. The tickle is turning into an itch. I cough louder. What's wrong with me? Layman pounds the table, glaring at me.
Can you please stop?
I cough again, and again, harder each time. My throat is closing. I grab the side of the table tightly in panic.
Quinn, are you all right?
Hickory asks. Can't breathe, I wheeze, trying to suck in as much air as possible. Spots dot my vision. I'm blacking out. I search for Aeron farther down the table, locking eyes with him.
Quinn!
He stands, his chair scraping against the floor as I fall. Hickory catches me, and I look up at a blur of faces. My body goes numb as I gasp for air. My eyes threaten to close. I fight to keep them open. Alys's face comes into focus, her eyes frantic.
Stay with me,
whispers a voice I don't recognize.
Move her to the infirmary now,
Aeron calls out. That voice I know, but all I see in front of me is Alys.
Stay calm.
The voice reverberates in my mind again as if it could be my own thoughts.
This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you.
Then, there's only darkness. Utter darkness and quiet. Did it finally happen? Am I dead?
Quinn!
Gaius's all too familiar voice screams my name. Another dream. I open my eyes, expecting to be back at the port where my nightmares with him always take place. This time, I'm sitting on a metal chair in a cold room. The only sound is a slow, insistent dripping.
Quinn!
I jolt in my seat, anxious to rise and follow his voice. I can't move. My arms and legs are bound to the chair. I yank at the restraints. I'm strapped down tight. Gaius! My head whips around to find where he could be. Torches light, and a gathering of fae make their way toward me. Their faces are blurred, as if my eyes aren't working properly. Hello? I asked tentatively. I need help, please! Their pace doesn't change. Gradually, their torches illuminate different parts of the room. Large pools of water cover the ground. Something is floating inside each of them. Bodies. No. I start to shake, my forehead breaking out in a sweat. Please, what do you want with me? Whipping my head around, I search for any kind of weapon. On a small table beside me is the mystic tome, the distinct pneumanic symbol on the cover staring me in the face. As much as I want to know why it's here, the book isn't going to help me. My eyes dart to what's next to it. A silver tray of syringes, some filled with murky liquid, others with dark red blood. Next to them, a collection of sharp metal instruments. Torture tools? Maybe I can grab one and turn it on my captors. As if answering my silent wish, one arm comes free. No, all of my limbs. I lunge for the sharp objects. Before I can reach them, hands grab my arms and pull me to one of the pools of water. I kick and scratch. It's no use. These fae are too strong. One pushes my face toward the pool's surface. It's filled with water, but no body. Not yet. All I can see is my reflection. No, it isn't my reflection. I'm looking at Gaius. I reach out to the image, then stare at the strange look of my fingers. Wait, these aren't my hands. I'm not me. Gaius? I croak, trembling as I stare back at myself, at Gaius, in confusion. A second figure appears in the reflective water. A tall, dark shadow stands behind me, their hand lifting high. The faerie is holding something thin and sharp, ready to strike.
Quinn!
Gaius's reflection screams. I startle awake in a dim room. I'm in my Dryad quarters. My shirt is soaked with sweat, though my body's chilled. A fever. Someone is sitting at my bedside. His form blocks most of the light, so all I can see is the silhouette of his large, muscular body. I tense, fearing I might still be in the dream. His head is low, his forehead on his folded hands. His breathing is slow and tranquil, as if he's fallen asleep. I lift my head slightly, blinking to clear my vision and identify my keeper. It doesn't help. It only makes the room spin. I lie back down, feeling like I might be sick. The figure's head rises. My movements must have stirred him. Still unaware if he is friend or foe, I shut my eyes, pretending to sleep. The figure takes a deep breath, and a gentle squeeze pulses against my fingers. He's holding my hand. My thoughts flit to Aeron, the only faerie I think it might be. As the figure lets go and gets up to leave, I open my eyes again and nearly call out to him. I stop. This figure doesn't walk like Aeron. He's much too tall, much too burly. With the help of a candle that flickers on the nearby table, my sight improves as he stops and glances back at me one more time. Dizziness returns with a vengeance as I catch sight of my father's dark braided beard. Then he's gone, and darkness overtakes me again. Chapter 10. I awake with a start, eyes frantic. I was dreaming of Gaius again. My breathing hitches. I'm still in my bed, and Aeron is sitting by my side. This time, it's really him. It was only a dream, wasn't it?
Oh, thank Phelan.
Aeron's voice shakes as he moves toward me. Then he hesitates, clearing his throat. In a calmer tone, he peers behind me and adds,
how are you feeling?
All right, I think. My eyes strain to see what he's looking at, hoping I'm truly awake now. What happened? I gingerly touch my throbbing head.
You passed out at dinner. Stopped breathing entirely at one point. You gave us, quite a scare.
Aeron shifts to reveal Alys at the table behind him. She's examining a series of vials with red-colored liquid.
She's been attending to you all night, doing some tests with your blood to see what might have happened.
Alys glances at me out of the corner of her eye. The shirt she wears reveals more of her neck than normal. Down the right side is a delicate new scar tattoo that definitely wasn't there before. The swirls join at the base of the new mark and then splay upwards, almost like a flame. My mouth drops open.
Are you sure you're all right?
Aeron asks, concern creeping into his voice.
Can I get you anything?
I'm still looking at Alys's neck. Yeah, I'll take some rum, I mutter. Aeron's signature dimple makes an appearance.
I'm glad you're feeling well enough to make jokes. I think I saw the servants bring in some fresh goat's milk. I'll go get you some.
As he leaves, I almost call after him that I wasn't kidding about the rum, but I need him to leave so I can talk to Alys. The door closes and Alys approaches, attentive, as if she knows a question is coming. Why did you save me? I ask. Alys just smiles. Blast, I wish he could just talk to me. Alys places a finger on her new fire tattoo, where a part of me will forever be imprinted. You didn't have to do that, I choke out. Alys puts her hand on my arm. This time it's not gloved. Her power runs through me like a calming yet tingling flow of energy. Then I hear a voice, the one that spoke to me before I blacked out.
Well, I couldn't just let you die,
it says. The voice has a faint raspiness to it and a hint of spunk. Alys's mouth remains closed, but she lifts her brows till it finally hits me. I'm hearing Alys speak. In my head. I sit up too quickly. The room spins, and Alys guides me back down.
Whoa, you're not ready for that quite yet,
she warns without moving her mouth again. How are you doing that? I ask aloud. Can you hear what I'm thinking too? Is that how your ability works? Alys grins.
Sometimes, at least with animals, my touch connects us somehow. I can speak to them, and they can speak to me.
I stare. You can hear creatures speak to you? Like actual words?
Kind of.
It's more like I can feel their emotions so powerfully that I have a pretty good idea what they're thinking. When I'm healing them, sometimes I even see flashbacks from their past, especially events that have caused them pain. Then I just think of how I'd want to respond to them, and it seems like they understand me. Most of the time, at least.
I pause, taking it all in. You need to be touching them to do so.
For the most part, skin-to-skin contact seems to do the trick. But as the bond is strengthened, some creatures and I are able to communicate fairly well without touch or even words.
Like with Toma, I ask. Alys nods.
Exactly. Even creatures that I haven't touched seem to trust me, as if I have a particular scent, as if I've been marked from all the times I've bonded with different creatures.
I think back to our time in Isinglass, and the fish constantly swarming around her. Then during the Trial of Beauty. That's how you communicated with the Leviathan, I say, and why you were so surprised when the lynxicorns wouldn't listen to you. She nods again, then her eyes flutter. She sways as if she's about to faint. Alys? I force myself up to help her. What's wrong?
I'm fine.
She straightens with a tired smile, motioning for me to lie back down.
It takes a lot out of me to heal, especially when it's a larger creature. It seems I take on their pain myself.
Like the jackalope in the forest. I recall her contorted face. You can do all that for others, but your gift doesn't heal your own body? She looked so terrible during the last trial.
My body does heal itself faster than most fae. It's just not instantaneous. In fact, the more I'm injured, the slower I heal. Like while battling a poison and being attacked by goblins at the same time, for instance.
She pulls up her sleeve to reveal that her goblin wounds are already closed. New pink skin has formed, knitting her slashed tattoos back together. Relief washes over me, but I know she must still be dealing with my pain too. I'm feeling much better now, I say, shifting away from her touch. I don't want you to drain yourself. Alys pats my arm.
It's okay. It took a while to heal you, but I'm done now. You had a lot of poison in your system.
Poison? From the trial? I ask. Didn't the plants we found wipe that out already? Alys presses her lips together.
I know what that poison feels like, but this one was very different. This one was powerful and poised to kill if I didn't act quickly.
What? How in Phelan did I get? I think back through the evening, to the moments before my throat started to tickle. The only thing I'd eaten was the lily tart. I knew it tasted different. The image of the tall, dark figure from my dream poised to stab me flashes into my mind. Was the dream trying to warn me of my attacker? I'm not anyone's favorite faerie. If someone wanted to poison me, any number of fae could be suspect. But there are only a few who knew I'd go right for the lily tarts. And I'm fairly sure I know which one would want me dead. This might sound insane, I say, but I think it might have been the Queen. Alys's eyes widen.
Are you sure?
I don't have time to explain right now, but she definitely has reason to be upset with me. And honestly, I think she's up to something. I go over the details in my head again. Vale basically confirmed in the temple that the missing book the Queen is looking for is the Pneumanic text. If the Queen found out what Hickory and I have been up to, maybe she decided it was time to take me out, especially after seeing us finish the trial together. But would she really want to kill me? She needs me to keep training Vale, after all. Or does she? Vale's fighting skills have improved drastically lately, and she's gotten a lot stronger. The only other competitor who could beat Vale in the test of strength now is me. She already threatened to take Aeron's life. Why should I be any different? Alys studies me as I think.
What do you think she's planning?
She asks. I don't know. Not yet, anyway. But I might be getting a bit too close to it for her comfort. Actually, I look at Alys's sleeve. I think it may have something to do with that symbol on your arm that I pointed out the other day. Alys lifts up her sleeve to reveal it. This is the same symbol we found in the temple, the sign of the Pneuma. Do you know how you got it? She shakes her head.
All I know is it's where my gift began. I was born with this mark, and then, like the seed of a plant, every other tattoo has grown out of it each time I heal.
You must have healed a lot of creatures then, I say, knowing how extensive her tattoos are in the places I've seen.
Against my parents' advisement, yes.
She averts her eyes.
They've forbidden me to use my gift, especially on or in front of other fairies.
Why would they do that? It's a lot better than the rumors about you being an agent of death. Alys lowers her head.
Oh, you've heard about that, huh?
It's true? I ask, now completely confused.
Not exactly,
Alys begins.
I wasn't always the eldest of my siblings. I had an older sister, Laurel. She was as beautiful as she was fierce, born to be a great leader, even from a young age. Then she grew very sick.
The gnolls? I ask tentatively. She nods.
It took hold of her so fast. My gift had just begun to surface, but my parents forbade me to try it on Laurel. I had only healed birds and other small animals. They didn't know what might happen to me. Still, I couldn't just sit back and watch her die. When one of her attendants fell asleep, I snuck in and tried to save her.
Alys closes her eyes tight.
The pain was excruciating, like nothing I've experienced since. I screamed so loudly, all the realm must have heard. My parents came rushing in to find my hands on my sister, my few tattoos at the time glowing and lighting up the whole room. They pulled me off of her, and while they took care of me, a few attendants checked on Laurel. But she'd already passed. I couldn't save her.
A tear rolls down Alys's cheek. My heart aches, remembering how hard it was to lose Gaius, knowing I couldn't save him. How hard it still is. Alys continues.
My parents were devastated, and I'd slipped into a coma as well. They thought they'd lost 2 daughters. Their only hope was that my tattoos continued to grow as I slept. Days later, they stopped spreading, and I woke up. My body had finally healed and repaired itself. Everything except...
She stops and points to her throat. You lost your voice. All the pieces come together. Is that when the rumor started? Alys rolls her eyes, turning toward the window.
Believe it or not, my parents actually spread that rumor themselves, though they deny it's true to anyone who asks. They say it's better for the world to fear me than to know the truth and the extent of my abilities. They're afraid others would try to use me to heal everyone, especially with the gnolls becoming more widespread. Or perhaps the kobolds would experiment on me to figure out how to make a serum for the plague. My parents think my body wouldn't be able to hold up under the pressure, and I'd fall into a coma again. Maybe this time I wouldn't wake up at all.
She looks at her gloved hand.
So, I put these on and keep people at a distance so they can't learn the truth.
But you don't agree that's what you should do. Alys gazes out the window. Her new fire-like tattoo stares me in the face. Both of us have a secret gift that we can't reveal to the world. At least Alys can use hers for good. A rush of warmth and admiration flows through me. Perhaps a bit of jealousy, too. Alys turns back to me.
I just feel like if I could be used to save thousands, even at the expense of my own life, it would at least start to make up for the fact that I couldn't heal Laurel. But since I'm in line for the throne, they won't let me submit myself for study. They almost didn't let me help you in the infirmary, but I'd already begun before they arrived.
Alys, I put my hand on hers. I appreciate what you want to do and what you did for me, but I'm not worth saving. The Queen knows I'm on to her, whatever she's up to. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes after me again. If she does, I don't want you to rescue me. I think you're meant for something bigger, and you need to preserve your strength for whatever that is, okay?
That's just the thing.
Alys smiles.
Ever since we started this competition, this pneumanic symbol on my arm has started burning. As I've studied our interactions, It really flares up whenever you're close by. I'm thinking it has something to do with your fire ability.
Panic rises in my chest. I could still deny the gift. I could chalk it up to another hallucination during the trial. But both she and Hickory saw it. It was as plain as the flame tattoo on her neck. Alys purses her lips.
I saw some of your most painful memories while healing you, Quinn. I know your first encounter with your magic hurt Gaius.
I flinch. I never wanted anyone else to know about that, let alone feel the pain of it. I turn away, but Alys squeezes my hand.
Quinn, gift or curse, your ability doesn't define you. What you do with it, that's what defines you.
Like her healing power still running through my veins, Alys's words rush over me in a wave of emotions I can't place or handle. I swallow hard, speechless.
And I do believe that I'm meant for something more.
She continues.
I saved you because I think it has something to do with you. I have a feeling we're not so different, you and me.
I blink, processing, still wanting to argue, wanting to ask so many more questions. Aeron enters the room with a pitcher of goat's milk and a tray full of biscuits. Noticing our clasped hands and intense stares, he stops.
Am I interrupting something?
He smiles suggestively. You wish, I laugh, trying to look excited about the snacks and not agitated that our conversation was cut short. There's still so much I want to understand. Alys leaves her hand on mine for just a few seconds more to say one last thing.
Whatever you're planning, Quinn, I want in.
Chapter 11. I lie awake in bed, a million thoughts running through my mind. Alys wants in. In on what, even I'm not sure yet. All I know for certain is that I was poisoned, there's definitely something going on with the mystic prophecy, and the Queen might have something to do with both. That, and the fact that I can't keep doing this alone. The door to my room creaks open and Alys enters, carrying a flickering candle. A few minutes later, Hickory follows, then Aeron, and lastly Vale, who softly closes the door behind her. Though every instinct in my body urged me to resist, I asked Alys to secretly gather them in my chambers. If I want to survive another day, I have no other choice. I need help. Setting her candle down on the table, Alys pulls up a wooden chair near my bedside. She places her hand on my arm, but this time, instead of just leather gloves, I also feel her fingertips through small slits.
I hope you know what you're doing,
Alys says in my mind. I nearly flinch. They're the same words Wit used to caution me before the funeral heist. The one that went terribly wrong. Am I about to make another big mistake? Alys eyes Aeron as he pulls up another chair, and Vale sits on the other end of my bed. Hickory looks at me over the top of his open sketchbook, which I requested he bring. He paces back and forth as his good eye glows faintly in the dim room. Okay, we're all here. Vale breaks the silence with a yawn, pulling her robe tighter around her. What was so important that you needed us to meet in the middle of the night? Aeron leans in, examining my face.
Are you feeling worse?
Well, I'm not dead, I say with a weak smile. That's sort of what I wanted to talk to all of you about. Hickory stops pacing as the four of them stare at me. I've called you all here tonight because it's obvious that someone wants me dead, and I think it might have something to do with the mystic prophecy. Hickory, can you read it again? Tentatively, Hickory flips through his sketchbook to where he's written down Vale's translation. After he reads it to us, I proceed to tell them everything. Well, at least what they need to know. I share about the recurring dream I've been having of Phelan in ruins and how it lines up with Hickory's painted vision. I leave out the part about Gaius, though. That part is personal, and I'm already sounding crazy enough. I also tell them about how the tome reacted to my touch and how Hickory has been working on translating it for us. So you stole the book from my library, Vale accuses. No, I didn't. You're missing the point. I shake my head, trying to keep my cool. Think about all the strange things that have happened. The lynxicorns turning on Alys, the goblins trying to destroy us, the moonrain drought, the plague, the threat of war. Lord Torlon even said himself that the sacred vine is suffering. I take a deep breath, second-guessing my plan and my sanity one more time. Hickory thinks it may be the mystic prophecy coming true. Stone and dust they must combine with every royal clan bloodline. I look at each of them. If the Pneuma are returning, it sounds like it may have something to do with us. Aeron blinks before cracking a smile. He turns to Hickory.
You've really got to lay off the pixie dust, mate. Or at least don't go sharing it with Quinn.
Hickory steps forward as if he's about to tackle Aeron. Aeron? My brow furrows, confused. I know how I must sound, but I didn't expect this kind of reaction from him. I haven't taken a whiff, I swear. You saw the prophecy yourself. You can't deny it. It helped us escape the temple. It's also in the mystic tome, word for word. There's got to be more to it. Aeron sighs and softens his tone, leaning forward on his elbows.
I'm sorry, but you just went through a very traumatic ordeal. Can you blame me for being a bit concerned? I mean, you had a dream, Hickory had a vision, some ancient words in some book showed up in a random temple, and now the end of the world is coming? Did I get all that right? I knew he'd make it into some kind of joke.
Hickory looks at me.
Quinn, why are you doing this? We were doing fine without— Now, wait a minute.
Aeron puts up a hand.
What about you, Alys? Are you in on this too?
Without hesitating, Alys pulls up her sleeve to reveal the pneumanic symbol on her arm. Hickory's eyes grow wide and he rushes to her side.
Wow! May I?
He asks before examining it further. Alys nods.
Well, I'm outnumbered.
Aeron huffs.
Vale?
We all look to Vale, who's been suspiciously quiet. I don't have time for this. Vale stands up to leave. There are 2 trials to come, and I don't want to just survive them. I want that crown. I glare at her. Vale, it won't matter who wins if there's no world left to rule. Vale hesitates. Fine. Not that I'm saying I believe you. But if you want my help, I'm going to need that book back. She puts out her hand. Aeron's mouth drops open.
You're not seriously encouraging this.
I shake my head at Vale. No way. You obviously need me to keep translating it for you, she persists. How can I do that if I don't have it? You can meet with Hickory and look over it with him, I say. Hickory's ears perk up at the mention of more time with Vale. But I can't let you take it back. Why not? Vale demands. It's mine anyway. I huff. Because I know your mother is desperate for it, and I know you'd give it right back to her. Vale gawks at me, then crosses her arms. So? It's her book. You said it was yours. I narrow my eyes. What's really going on, Vale? What does she want with it? I try to sound commanding, though my voice is still ragged. I don't know. Vale fidgets. What does it matter anyway?
I really don't think she knows.
Alys speaks into my mind as she looks at Vale.
Her mother is probably keeping secrets from her, too.
It matters, I tell Vale, trying to stay calm, because she's the one who poisoned me.
What? What?
Hickory and Aeron exclaim at the same time. My stare remains focused on Vale. She's the one with a motive. Vale's face slowly turns as red as her hair. How dare you? There's no way my mother had anything to do with this. I know all of her potions and how to test for them. I'll prove it. She crosses to the table and swipes a vial of my blood before storming toward the door, her eyes brimming with tears. Vale, wait, I say. She stops right before the door. Either Alys is right and Vale's mother is keeping her in the dark, or I'm dead wrong. Maybe it wasn't her. Vale turns, her hand still gripping the vial tightly. I choose my next words carefully. But if it wasn't her, that means we still have a killer on the loose. And we have no idea what they want, which means none of us are safe. Vale's gaze drops to the floor before she walks back to my bed, plopping down on the end, wiping at her eyes. Everyone else seems lost in thought as well, wondering what it all means. Together, when the moons align, Vale breaks the silence, sniffing back the last of her tears. So we have a competition to finish, a killer to find, and a prophecy to figure out, all before the next moon harvest, huh? Well, I'll start by examining this. She holds up the vial. Vale is in.
When is the moon harvest again?
Aeron sighs, then gives me a tentative smile. Despite his skepticism, he's in too. Hickory does a quick tally in the air.
Just a few weeks, after the end of the Ethidine.
Alys gives my arm a light squeeze.
That's not a lot of time.
No, it's not, I say aloud, forgetting the others can't hear Alys. They look at me. I mean, it's not a lot of time. We'd better get to work. Chapter 12. The sun will be up in just a few hours, so we put together a quick plan. Hickory and Vale will work on translating more of the book together in secret. Vale will analyze the poison, and the rest of us will take their translation and keep trying to puzzle out what the prophecy actually means. After we're done, they depart my room one by one. Aeron is the last to leave.
Hey,
He says, pausing at the door.
I'm sorry about giving you a hard time earlier.
It's fine. Even I think it sounds crazy.
You only sound a little crazy.
He teases, then grows serious.
Just promise me you'll be careful, okay? If something really is going on, I don't want to see you get in any more trouble.
I'm about to scold him for worrying about me again, but he continues, his gaze fixed on the floor.
I don't know if I could sit by your bedside again, not knowing if you'll wake up. You know?
At his words, all the fight leaves my body, remembering him darting after me when I collapsed at dinner, and his great relief when I awoke. Warmth pools in my chest. I know, I say softly.
Good.
He smiles.
You know what? You look like you could use some fresh air.
It's the middle of the night. I laugh. What's going on in that head of yours?
Well, before you called this little meeting, I had something I wanted to show you. You're right, though. It's late and you're still recovering. You should rest.
He puts a hand on the doorknob. Wait, what was it? I try to push myself off the mattress, too intrigued now to sleep. My legs give out. Even my wings are too tired to release as I fall. Aeron darts over and catches me just in time. I dangle there in his arms, his breath on my skin. Heat rises to my cheeks, and while part of me wants to push away, to stand on my own, the other part wants to lean in a bit closer. Looking down at my useless legs, I try to laugh it off. Actually, it looks like I'm not going anywhere fast. I just get us caught. It's probably for the best. What if the Queen finds out? Somehow, she seems to have eyes everywhere. If she wasn't afraid to poison me, she definitely wouldn't bat an eye at getting rid of Aeron. But he isn't ready to give up. A mischievous smile tugs at the corner of his lips.
There's always the window. This place isn't too far. I could carry you, unless that's too chivalrous for the likes of Captain Shade. I could always go by myself.
Now I have to know what the surprise is. And if I'm honest with myself, I'm not ready to be left alone in the darkness of my room. Or for Aeron to leave. I guess you could carry me. I give in, half begrudgingly. Just this once.
Just this once.
His dimple appears. After making sure the coast is clear, Aeron scoops me up, and we soar out the window into the cool night air, both of my arms tight around his neck. I try to loosen my hold, but remembering the weakness of my wings, I pull closer. Aeron's smile tells me he doesn't mind in the least. Flying through the branches of the Dryad homes, their lamps doused long ago, the moonlight guides Aeron to his target, right outside the village. "What's all the way out here?" I ask as we land.
You'll see.
He carries me through the brush, and the foliage opens up to reveal a scene that makes my heart swell. A lake surrounded by tall trees sparkles in the moonlight. Fireflies dance over the surface as a small glittering waterfall pours into the lake. A hidden oasis. Resting near the water's edge is a simple rowboat, with a glowing lantern hanging off a hook on the back. My grip on Aeron's neck relaxes, and my mouth parts. When we reach the boat, Aeron gently lowers me inside, grabbing a blanket to put around my shoulders. I look up at him. How did you?
I came across this place a few days ago, and somehow it made me think of you.
As he looks around, I feel a flush beneath my skin.
When we were stuck in the Mystic Temple, I vowed myself that if we made it out alive, I'd bring you here. I know it isn't your minnow or the Silver Sea, but I thought you might enjoy a little time on the water. And I mean on it. No swimming this time, I promise.
Warmth spreads through my chest. It's actually kind of perfect. No one has ever done something this thoughtful for me.
Good,
He says with a contented sigh. It's hard to tell in the dim light, but I swear he's blushing.
Well, shall we shove off then?
Before I can respond, Aeron rushes behind me, pushing the boat fully into the lake as I struggle not to laugh like a giddy sprite. As the boat settles in the water, Aeron flies over the top and lands on the bench seat across from me. Retracting his fin-like wings, he grabs the oars on either side.
All right. What first, Captain?
He asks, playing the part of my eager crew. I laugh again, swelling with joy at the sound of that title coming from his lips. More than ready to play along, I begin giving commands. Batten down the hatches, raise anchor, set the sails.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Aeron attempts his best pirate voice as he mimes the seafaring directions, joining in my laughter as he moves us out to the middle of the lake. Though the scene around us is lovely, I can't help closing my eyes. The rushing water from the falls is so soothing. It's almost as if I can feel it healing me from the inside out. I try imagining a clear night back on the Silver Sea. I can't picture what ship I'd be on. In reality, it wouldn't be the Minnow. And if the Queen tried to kill me, who knows if she still intends to give me a vessel. My smile fades as the vision shatters. Without warning, scenes from my nightmares rush to replace it. Gaius yelling, the vine falling, the tall, dark figure raising a weapon toward me. No, he's raising it toward me in Gaius's body. I open my eyes to meet Aeron's concerned gaze.
Is something wrong?
He asks, bringing his rowing to a stop. What? I blink. Oh no, it's not you. Or this.
Are you thinking about your dreams again?
He guesses tentatively. How did he get so good at reading me? Sort of. I swallow, pulling the blanket tighter as if it can protect me from the visions. One thing's still bothering me about them.
One thing?
Aeron chuckles lightly.
Every part of them sounds pretty awful.
I relax my hands in my lap. True, but there's something I haven't mentioned to anyone else yet. How am I going to explain this? I shake my head. I shouldn't be sharing this at all.
Quinn.
Aeron puts a hand on mine.
You can tell me.
Can I? For a lucid moment, I fear his gaze, his sudden yet comforting touch, not trusting his words. My father's warnings back in Grey Marrow echo in my mind.
You must not trust anyone.
I listen for the tone of Aeron's voice, for the watery effect it takes when he uses his gift. But his voice remains normal, filled with sincerity. The only sound of water comes from the falls. Gaius is in the dreams too, I say. Aeron's comforting grin fades. He pulls back his hand, taking in my revelation. Then he shakes his head, his lightness returning.
That makes sense. You're going through a lot right now. You miss him.
That's what I thought too, I agree. But if these visions are real, they have to be coming from somewhere. What if the Dryad's beliefs about spirits are true? What if Gaius's ghost or whatever has been trying to tell me something? Aeron just stares.
About the Pneuma?
Yes, but maybe more than that too. I pause. I had a different dream before waking up from the poison. One where I was attacked, nearly tortured. Someone was about to stab me with something. I think of the syringes of murky liquid. Were they attempting to inject me with poison? And when I looked at my reflection, it wasn't me looking back. It was Gaius. As I speak, Aeron's skin ironically turns a ghostly shade of white. Or perhaps it's just the reflection of the moon's. When he doesn't respond, I continue. At first, I thought maybe he was trying to warn me about my attacker, about the poisoning. But why would he warn me of something that already happened? I know it sounds crazy. But what if Gaius is trying to tell me something about his death? What if Gaius was poisoned, just like me?
Quinn,
Aeron says, finally finding his voice.
Gaius died from the gnolls. The plague isn't something you can bottle up and distribute.
Not that we know of, I press. The Dryads bottled up the delirium infection they gave us during the trial of life. Who's to say someone couldn't do it with the plague, too? Aeron stares blankly. I'm probably not making any sense. I'm so tired. Worn out. I lower my face into my hands and groan. Blast. I'm losing my mind, aren't I? My voice cracks.
No, I mean... I'm sorry, Quinn.
Aeron's voice falters as he shifts closer, placing a hand on my knee.
Don't cry, okay?
I nearly laugh into my hands. You don't have to worry about that. I don't cry.
You don't cry?
His voice lightens in humored surprise.
Are you serious?
Very. My voice is muffled by my hands.
Like, never?
Not for a long time. He sighs.
That's so...
strange. I finished for him, fearing the answer.
Sad.
Sympathy laces his words. Sad? That isn't the reaction I thought I'd get. I look up to challenge him, then stop. Aeron has moved closer to me, his face much closer than I expected. He's looking at me with those mesmerizing sea blue eyes. Shouldn't that be a good thing? I swallow. I mean, who wants to cry anyway? What's the point? With one smooth movement, Aeron brings my hands down into my lap and tucks a lock of curly hair behind my ear. His touch silences me.
My mother says tears can actually be healing. They help process and release pain, carrying it from the body and out to sea.
He looks into my eyes as if searching my soul.
You must be carrying so much pain.
You have no idea. I can't bring myself to say it out loud.
I wish I could take it away for you,
he says. I try to give him an encouraging smile. Thanks, but you can't. No one can. I think of Alys and how she can take away sickness or even near death with only a touch. Even she can't uproot the inner turmoil of someone's heart. Aeron's hand moves to my cheek, only taking his eyes off mine to glance at my lips.
I can try.
He shifts closer. But, I say breathlessly, trying to think of an excuse to stop him. There's so many I could give. Deep down, I don't want to. I've fallen willingly under his spell after all.
No more holding back,
he whispers. And gently pulling my face toward his, He kisses me. Alarms go off in my mind, bells that ring with the Queen's warnings. They're quickly drowned out by the roar of my heart and the press of his lips. My body ignites, not into actual flames, thankfully, but a warmth courses somewhere deep inside as I lean into him. It's as if we're the only two fairies in the world. And even if it's just for this fleeting moment, the dull pain I carry everywhere drifts away with the gentle waves.
Thanks so much for listening to Forest of Blood, Episode 4 of my On Wings of Ash and Dust miniseries. You can listen to the rest of the series through the playlist linked in the description below. Additionally, while this story was first released as a miniseries, all 6 books were later combined to form the full-length novel, also titled On Wings of Ash and Dust, which is available now, and its sequel, On Wings of Crowns and Chaos, is coming April 10th, 2026, with the audiobook currently in production as well. At the time of publishing this video, I'm also hosting a fun book club style read-along for the entire On Wings of Ash and Dust story. If you'd like to join the read-along as you listen to these audiobook videos, simply sign up for email alerts in the description of this video, and I'll send you all the details. Of course, feel free to share any thoughts about Part 4, Forest of Blood, in the comments too. I'd love to chat with you, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy the rest of the series linked below.